All right, Cort, what's your next one?
It's my son.
What?
He's just playing with Grogu
He
over
just
there.
silently, this is my son.
Yoda is my son.
Who's
Okay.
the mother?
I mean, y'all seen Yaddle? No. Okay.
No.
Nope.
Attention gamers. If you or a loved one has played Fortnite in the last 7 years, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Please contact Knights of the D-Pad for more info.
Do we have the money to shell out for that? I mean,
Yes.
Cort does. He shows for Fortnite
I
all
show
the
for
time.
Fortnite.
You've
Oh,
got to
that's
have
true.
pay
I'm
for
on, their,
your.
I'm on their payroll.
You've got. You're gonna be the one dishing out the
Donald
financial
Mustard
compensation.
himself comes down from Salt Lake and hands me an envelope full of money every time I show for
This is
Fortnite
for
on
the
show.
compensation.
I'm pulling up Cort's number right now just so that all 6 of the people that listen to our podcast can just spam call him.
Uh-oh.
Spam call him Scott right here. I don't know if you play Fortnite, but this is your guy. You can get money from
I
him.
will give you financial compensation.
Welcome everybody to episode 8. Woo!
Yeah.
Cort's back. Jason's gone.
I'm here. Jason is gone.
Once again, we have
He's been
different-
removed.
a different set of 4 hosts for
Don't ask where Jason
the
is.
8 weeks running. A different host setup
know.
again. Once again another set setup, but you can't tell because there's not a main angle.
Yep. Once again, we experiment with different things in our setup, our cameras, everything. Nothing is ever the same. And that's the real lesson of Knights of the D-Pad, is that life is always changing, and you need to
Consistency
be okay with
is
that.
a sham, and we hate it.
Consistency in the application of something typically which is necessary for the sake of logic, accuracy, or fairness.
Okay,
Fake news.
logically
Fake
this
news.
does make sense.
Fake news.
Oh, that's Cap Joe.
That's Cap Joe.
Anyways,
Yeah.
welcome everybody. We're back for another episode of Shenanigans. I don't know. It seems like the chaos levels change every week. Chaos control.
The Chaos Emeralds.
My point stands. So, where would we like to start with the news this week?
Let's take a look.
I kind of want to give context to my Fortnite.
Oh, okay, you want to start?
Oh,
Or
yes.
should we start with Ben's?
I think we should start with
I
Ben's.
think we
Ben,
should
you
start
give
with
us
Okay.
Ben's is a
what,
really
what,
good
Okay.
one.
Yeah. Start with the
So
bad news.
start with the bad news.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, a large name in the film and game industry, Lance Reddick, he passed away very recently, and so very sad to see him go. I played a lot of Destiny back in the day, so
Lance was the.
he sorry yeah.
he
So
was the voice of-
he played the voice of Commander Zavala in Destiny 1 and 2, obviously. He's also Silence.
Silence.
That's what it is. In Horizon Zero Dawn, and also he was in The Wire and John Wick, both movies I really like. So
Yeah.
So a moment of silence for Lance Reddick. Thank you.
all right.
Anyway, it's been cool watching the Destiny community come
Mm-hmm.
together for this because there's you can see like Commander Zavala is like an interactable NPC in like the hub area of Destiny, and so there's been like all these like big meetups where people will go and they'll just like have their characters like kneel by
Excuse
Commander
my
Zavala or
ringtone.
like do like emotes that are like honoring him and stuff like that. But like
That's pretty cool.
honoring the voice actor via
Mhm.
that. I don't know. It's sweet to see gaming communities come together to like I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, Lance Reddick has been always super interactive with
Yeah.
the Destiny community too. He like always posts like videos and stuff, like,
He played the game all the time. you know?
and he'll just like be ready to just completely interact with people, and like do little skits or whatever, kind of like be like, playing around with people.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
someone will ask him to say something, and he'll do it in the
Oh, yeah.
Commander Zavala voice. So it's always like he's definitely been super kind to people in Destiny and also Horizon Zero Dawn, and so
He seems like one of those actors that was just a really like genuinely cool dude.
Like
you know?
Keanu Reeves.
Like
Kinda.
Keanu Reeves, exactly. And he
Mhm.
worked with Keanu Reeves in John Wick.
so basically just
Yeah.
anyone in
Think
John
about
Wick
it.
is a good person. All right.
That is the moral of the story.
Maybe.
Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't met Lawrence Fishburne, so
All right. Well, I guess we have to fact check that one.
We'll arrange a meet and greet with them.
Yeah,
next
we'll
week.
get right on that, Ben.
We'll get him as a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll get
There we
right
go.
on that, Ben. All right, now Cort. Now you can elaborate. You can shill positively and negatively.
And
Yes, tell me why I'm entitled to Fortnite compensation.
So, Epic was recently sued for sued, and they just came to an agreement with the FTC.
If the FTC sued them.
The FTC,
Yikes.
and basically said, "Hey, you had some
Dark pattern.
dark patterns is the word they use, but like deceptive. I don't know what they interpreted as like deceptive designs intended to make it easier for children to accidentally buy Fortnite like cosmetics.
Oh.
V-Bucks.
Accidentally
didn't actually
buy.
want
How do you-
to buy. And
So,
basically-
as someone who has not played Fortnite, really, I played Fortnite like the second day.
Yeah.
It was.
You're
Popular.
still tainted.
But like, I haven't played it since just 'cause it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so basically what it was is in the earlier days of Fortnite, their shop was, if you wanted to buy something from it, you just pressed a single button and it was bought and that was it. Like,
Oh.
and there wasn't really like much of a there was a refund system, but like it wasn't super fleshed out, and there really wasn't much of like a confirm purchase kind of thing or like anything like that. It was just like you press the button and you buy it.
Oh.
And then they also had like one where like if you bought like these certain types of bundles, the button that would be to like buy it on other items was, or the bundle that would be to look at the item on other items was the button to buy it on
Oh no.
No
these. And so
way.
like there was like a little bit of like this weird like mismatch. And anyway, people complained about it obviously, and this was back in like forever ago, like back when Fortnite just started. Actually, I mean both, yeah. And they fixed it pretty much immediately once it was brought to their attention. So like now and for the past several years, if you buy anything, you have to like hold down the button, and there's like a big like confirm purchase
Well, that's good.
process, which is good.
Mhm.
And then there's like an instant, like if you realize you accidentally bought something, as long as you don't play a match with that cosmetic,
Oh, you can refund it.
you can refund it completely for free, like no refund tokens or whatever, just completely for free. And then like, I'm trying to think, and then they made some other changes to make it less.
But people are upset about the old one.
Yeah, people are upset about the old one, and basically the FTC was like, hey, as compensation for how your practices used to be a little like iffy, you need to
give
pay
them a
out
refund.
a certain amount of money to anybody who has like a legitimate claim
and
that.
$45 million lawsuit.
So basically, if
I
you,
mean, for something that says a Fortnite, that's actually not that colossal.
yeah, no, it's
Well, it's a very small. Well, so the
I'm
FTC, there are one of three requirements that someone has to meet in order to be eligible for compensation. The first one is the parents of children who made unauthorized purchases on the Epic Games Store between January 2017 and November 2018. Fortnite players who were charged V-Bucks for unwanted in-game items between the game's release in 2017 and September of 2022. And then Fortnite players who had their accounts locked between release and September of 22 after they disputed unauthorized charges with their credit card companies.
yeah, that was another one that people were pretty upset about, because a lot of times when they would accidentally buy something, they would like dispute that with their credit card companies, and then Epic would lock their accounts under suspicion of fraud. And it would take like forever to get it unlocked, and so people were like, and sometimes not even at all, and so people were really upset about that.
So
which
you
is justified,
may
like-
be entitled to compensation.
So saying as someone who has never bought something or even bought V-Bucks,
No, you do not get
am I
compensation.
entitled to financial compensation?
Your compensation is you don't have to experience Fortnite.
Or legal process.
Or legal
Or legal
process.
processes. Great.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't know. I think it's an interesting case because Epic is one of those companies that when they were called out on these mistakes, they didn't try
fixed
to
it.
defend it. They didn't try to like change it in a way that, oh, we fixed it, but it's still scummy. Like they went in and they legitimately fixed it,
They've genuinely fixed it.
which I think is commendable. But also it was a little little sketchy that they were doing it in the first place, but they fixed it.
It was the early days of battle pass based games,
Right,
so
it's
you know
true.
everyone was learning how
Shills
much
for
scumminess they
Fortnite.
could get away with.
It's true. I mean, I was talking with one of the guys in my writing group just last night, and how a lot of games are designed to just guide you straight into purchasing,
Yeah.
straight into signing the "oh yes, I will buy" money. And where I have a lot of respect for games that make it so you have to go out of your way. You know, there's
Yeah.
multiple stop points, there's multiple checks. You have to go looking for the purchase option.
Yeah.
I like games that do that.
Yeah, Fortnite did not have that originally, and now it does, and I think that's kind of why people are like,
Make me
people are
play
mad
an
that it initially
ARG.
didn't, that there was like very little to stop a child from just pressing, you know.
Make me play an ARG in order to find the shop menu.
An
Make me
ARG.
beat
Mini-
Stockfish and chess in order to find
Oh my
the
goodness!
shop
if you,
menu.
if you beat Dark Souls with one hand tied behind your back
On a DDR pad,
on a DDR pad,
you can buy this
you can buy this
skin in
cosmetic.
Fortnite.
But
But what else did Fortnite do that's
So-
actually good?
the other thing that is blowing my mind and I'm so excited for is a while back. So Fortnite has this creative mode, right, where you can go in and you can make your own like little game experiences and like little mini games and stuff, and it's pretty robust. Like I've seen people make some pretty cool stuff with it, and like Epic themselves have made some pretty cool stuff with it. But it's not like mind blowing, you know?
And not like Minecraft's creative mode.
Yeah. And so it's like, and it, like again, you can make some cool stuff, but it's not like crazy. And a little while, like a couple years ago, like big name like Fortnite leakers started talking about Creative 2.0, this project that was being worked on behind the scenes. And then it was like this consistent like point of talk for 2 years or so until eventually they came out and stated, like Fortnite came out and announced it and basically said what we're doing is we're taking Unreal Engine and like just giving Fortnite players access to Unreal Engine. Like, so basically what it is,
So you could
it's
change
like
like the terrain too.
oh yeah, so it's like I mean basically they're taking all
Respectable.
the major tools of Unreal and just putting it into its own separate like application, like this it's called like Unreal Editor for Fortnite, and it's like you can import your own like models, your own animations, your own sounds, your own like textures, your own pretty much every major thing you could do in Unreal Engine you can do in this.
It's about to turn into the next Roblox.
No,
Is
and
this
that's
freaking
exactly what it
Gary's
is.
mod for
Like,
Unreal Engine?
That's exactly what it is. No, it 100%.
Even more than Gary's mod, I'd
Yeah.
say.
Like it's like they created an entirely new programming language called Verse just for use
You're kidding.
in this thing. No, like
Nope.
entirely
Wow.
new programming language. And anyway, and so it's huge. Like it's at the very least, it'll be like Roblox level of customization.
Well,
and,
I
like,
mean,
game making.
they have other programs to create visual effects with Niagara, Control Rig and Sequencer, to animate custom characters, World Partition to create bigger gameplay experiences, and Fab to discover assets and import them. So they can do everything from
Wow.
their own VFX to their own assets.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much just taking the tools of Unreal Engine and giving it to players so that they can make creative experiences and then just port them directly.
All right,
into
what's a new game genre that's going to be developed this time? We got MOBAs from Warcraft 3.
But honestly, I mean, we've seen what people have been doing with Roblox over the last few
Yeah.
months,
It's impressive.
and this looks like it could be the next.
Your
step
Unreal
in that.
Engine 5 Pizza Tycoon Simulator.
So like
Finally.
I don't know if y'all have seen.
About time.
I've seen YouTube videos on this. There is a Call of Duty clone
Yeah,
created in Roblox.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They created an Overwatch in Roblox as well. Like,
No, but like
you can make
is it-
anything in Roblox.
does it have like the actual models?
oh no, it doesn't have
Like,
the models.
The Call of Duty clone actually
yeah, it
has
has,
like real life people, not like the
Yeah.
blocky little
Yeah,
Roblox
like real
dudes.
life-
Like
I've seen
it looks like
it
real life
looks like
people.
it's
COD.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
It's insane.
It basically looks exactly the same. Like the graphics are a little
Yeah,
bit
it's
less.
Roblox.
Because like that's because it's on Roblox.
Yeah.
But like other than that,
Oh, yeah.
it looks like you're just playing like Battlefield 1.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
I saw a gameplay clip of it, and I legit like it didn't say what it was from at first, and I was like, oh, this must be like from one of the new Call of Duty games, and then it was like, just kidding, this was made in Roblox, and I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
there's
I'm
no
sorry?
way. Like,
You
but
what?
I remember
that's-
there were a lot of people like comparing Pokemon Legends Arceus to Roblox. Like you can see what you can do in Roblox that they didn't do in Legends because like the forests were so thin and stuff.
uh,
But here's one thing that I want to know though, and this is important.
Mm.
Is there going to be monetization for this?
I don't
As in,
think
are people
they've
going to buy and
said
sell
yet.
assets,
I
game modes,
Don't
Wait.
know.
small purchases, microtransactions related
At the
to this?
time, Tim Sweeney said the feature was designed to allow creators to monetize their custom content without having to make a deal with Epic Games, thereby turning Fortnite into a digital marketplace. A keen dispute. Okay.
So it sounds pretty
here's-
much like Roblox. Like in
Yeah.
Roblox, you can
Yeah.
you can buy stuff in the specific game.
Now, there's
Right.
good and bad things to that.
Yeah.
Roblox has had a long history of exploitation of child labor,
Yes, 100%.
scams, fraud, basically creating its own stock market that uses Robux, which can be transferred back and forth with real money,
Mm.
which is very illegal to allow children to do.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, there have been a lot of issues with that. I really don't want to see
Epic-
Fortnite get into that.
I trust Epic because Epic
Yeah.
doesn't have a history of doing. I mean, yeah, they had the lawsuit,
right.
but they don't have a history of that sort of thing. So I think it's
Plus, there's no conversion of V-Bucks
Yeah.
to real money, like no direct
So
conversion.
you can't bring it back.
no.
Yeah.
I imagine that
Okay,
this is gonna
good,
work
good.
akin to the Minecraft marketplace with people and their custom
Yeah.
creations, where you put it on the
That's what I
Minecraft
mean.
marketplace and then you buy it with the in-game currency.
Okay. But
Mine coins.
I'm
Minecoins.
very
Couldn't find a
excited
better
to
name
see
than
what this is going to
Minecoins.
become because I think this really could be the next big stage in like letting creators, letting community just
Mhm.
make their own games, make their own experiences, and having it all be centered in Fortnite is going to blow up Fortnite to huge proportions. Like I'm really
Because
excited
it's
to see-
already not a huge proportion.
well, right, but like I don't know. I'm really excited to see what it's going to do, and it comes out next Wednesday. Is when the
Oh, wow.
They,
So this
they've been
is-
working on it for a while.
Yeah,
it
so
was
it's-
supposed to come out last
yeah, it was
year, I
supposed to
think.
come out December of last year.
Yeah,
and
but they
delayed
pushed
a
it
couple
back.
times. But yeah, so it's its own separate like app that you download, kind of like how the Roblox has like its Roblox Studio, which is where you make the experiences and you upload to Roblox. But so it's its own separate app you download. You make things. It's PC only, so console players can't. I mean, they can play the experiences, but they can't make them.
I mean, that makes sense.
Because how are you supposed to model that with a controller?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. But anyway, it looks incredible. I'm super hyped to see what people come up with. I mean, even with the limited tools of the current existing creative mode, people have made some crazy
Yeah.
stuff.
Mhm.
And those same people with this tool set are going to make some amazing things. I'm super excited about it.
Honestly, this does sound pretty cool.
Still won't make me play it.
I might. I
Not
might
yet.
try it. I have never touched Fortnite, but I might try it for this.
I don't
'cause
know.
this
I
seems
think there's
cool.
going to be some stuff that even you find hard too.
No, if I just don't, if I
Just watch them
don't,
create this epic SAO game mode, Aiden.
yeah, good luck with that.
Can you ignore it then?
Yeah, I can.
What if
'cause
they
it's
did
still
an
Fortnite.
SAO
What if it has
crossover
Xenon?
with Fortnite?
It's
and they added
still-
Kirito
it's-
and
It's
Xenon
still
and-
Fortnite.
So why is that an issue?
I just don't want to play Fortnite.
Why?
I think it was just all of the early stuff, like the early days of Fortnite, killed it for me. And it's like I know it's not that anymore, but it's
Okay,
completely
but question: what if they added like Xenon and Kirito?
no, because
as
it's
a
still
collab.
Fortnite.
But like what?
Well, I need more. I can't just be a collab. Like the only reason I enjoy playing SAO games is because they're full single player RPGs that I can put 100 hours into.
But people would be able to create stuff like that with this. I mean, there's their own audio character custom models, custom animations for characters. Like a person could conceivably take this new Unreal editor and make an entire.
Well, we're not there yet.
What if someone
Well,
said
we
they
did that on
refuse to
Wednesday.
play like any SAO game because it looks like anime? Would you say that's a valid excuse?
I mean, they just don't like anime. I mean, I'm not, that's
fair.
their call.
That's fair. That's
Alright.
fair.
That's their call. I mean, if you don't like anime and don't want to play an SAO game, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not gonna like.
If they added SAO characters to Fortnite,
No.
I will buy you the SAO skin as long as you play
No,
Fortnite.
because I enjoy Star Wars too, and I
we
haven't
all played
started playing
Overwatch 2
Fortnite
with
because of
you. Come
Star
on,
Wars.
man.
That's fair.
So that was your decision.
Mm.
I will not budge.
Fair enough.
Anyway, speaking about other stuff on Epic Games, there's a new free game out on the Epic Games Store. It's the Warhammer 40k game, Gladius: Relics of War. Just thought I'd point that out. I just downloaded it while we were recording this podcast. Well, not downloaded. Got it on my library. I actually have yet to install a single game from the Epic Games Store, but I've been
I
expanding
don't
my
even have
library.
the Epic Games Store.
I do like how Epic Games does these like free games every week.
It's
They've had some
nice.
bangers on there. Like,
They
they had
have.
Borderlands 3 on there a while
Yeah, but
back.
they won't have
Yeah.
Tears of the
I
Kingdom.
got Death Stranding on there,
Oh, I didn't really
which
touch
is like
that.
the
Dang it, I tried.
director's cut edition. I think I have Kerbal Space Program from
I
it.
tried. I tried so hard and got nowhere.
Anyway, continuing along.
Yes.
What can you get if you try and pre-order Tears of the Kingdom, Kyle?
You can get a spoon.
I saw that.
You get a spoon?
So this is only if you're in Japan, though. So here's the deal: there's a special pre-order bundle available in Japan only, where you can get this commemorative spoon that has the Legend of Zelda logo engraved into it.
Like the Triforce, or
Yeah, like the Triforce. Like,
that's
here,
freaking
let me see if I
dope.
can.
I'm
pull up
not
a picture
seeing
for you.
that.
Well, multiple countries have different ones. There's like a
Oh, I
UK
think this
version
is
with
the
a wooden
US one,
plaque.
then.
There's a US one which has, I think, just some of the same stuff, the art book and
The enamel
other
pins.
things. Let's see.
Does the U.S. version not come with a cool plaque or spoon?
No, well, you get
the
you
UK
get the
version
poster
gives you the plaque.
and the brooches.
The Japanese
which,
one
like-
gives you the spoon. The American doesn't have any special add-ons. It's just the basic
Lame.
package.
Come on,
No, it
America.
looks. I mean, unless the collector's deluxe edition comes packaged with the steelbook case, concept art, the poster, and a set of 4 enamel pins.
They all have that though.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
then I mean, you get
Come
something.
on,
You do get things. I'm
America.
not trying to say that it doesn't have fun add-ons. It's just that these weird things like a spoon, and if you get the deluxe edition
And a
of the
fork.
pre-order, you get a fork.
More than it.
oh boy, a
Oh, boy.
fork.
Wait. If you pre-order the deluxe edition, you get the spoon and the fork?
And the fork. Yep.
Well, I guess you got to go to Japan now.
Ferb, I know what we're going to do today.
When's the next flight to Tokyo?
Why'd you say it like that?
Tokyo.
'Cause I wanted to.
Tokyo.
Like their around the world special when they went to Tokyo.
Yeah, you're gonna like the art style.
I
is
wonder
gonna
how
change.
much it
The
would...
infinity gauntlet of Zelda spoons. You go all around, get all of them. You just got a
After all these
silverware
years,
drawer full
finally,
of
I
freaking.
have them all.
I have all of the collector's edition Tears of the Kingdom spoons.
We have yet to see the collector's edition Tears of the Kingdom knife, so keep your eyes out.
that
if
may be
there's-
out
Maybe
there.
that's what America will get.
we get the knife.
I don't think they're gonna do a knife, just 'cause I feel like someone's gonna get stabbed with it.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna.
What a
cause-
way to go.
Yeah.
Stabbed by a Tears
It's
of the
just,
Kingdom.
the knife is just the master sword. It's just a little
Could
Could
you
you,
master
imagine
sword.
that? You're like at a dinner party, like no, I brought my own utensils, and it's like the spoon and fork there engraved. You're like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool, and then you bust out like the freaking master sword
got its own
and
little
start
cutting
like
your
you
steak
start like
with a
cutting your
master
steak with a master sword.
Now that
Zelda
is how you
music plays
dine
softly
in
the
style.
background.
It's just an ocarina.
You just quietly hear. Dun,
I'm
dun,
sure that
dun,
somebody has
dun,
very
dun,
easily
dun,
3D
dun.
printed a master sword knife.
Oh, I'm
Just
sure.
go on to
sure.
Etsy
You
and you'll
can
find
You
it.
can get like keys, custom keys that look like the master sword.
Oh, that's dope.
And
kinda
like
cool.
there's companies that will do this. They'll get like famous swords and other things from video games and make a key blank that looks like it. So you can just make your house key be the Zelda dungeon key, the master sword, the breaker sword from Final Fantasy VII,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other iconic
That's
things.
pretty
I
cool.
despise the breaker sword.
Really?
I despised oversized weapons in
breaker
general.
sword. Wait, you mean the Buster sword?
Sorry, Buster Sword.
I was like, what the heck is the breaker
My-
sword?
my-
Oh,
Buster
it's
sword.
called the breaker sword in Terraria. I'm pretty sure.
That's right.
You don't
Makes
like the massive two-handed kind of swords?
Okay,
Well, but
Once they
he
get-
wields the Buster sword with one hand. Is the
anime has this problem a lot.
Oh, like
Where-
wielding super overpowered weapons with like one hand?
No, just oversized weapons in general.
Doesn't
like-
Dark Souls have massive weapons?
yeah, Dark
Yeah,
Souls does.
Dark Souls. It's from
I-
Japan.
So
Yeah, but to call Dark Souls
Monster
anime.
Hunter, Monster Hunter follows the same.
Monster
Like,
Hunter has some
Hunter,
it's just-
crazy weapons.
the biggest thing like anything bigger than a claymore. If y'all know what a claymore
Yeah.
sword looks like, that is like conceivably the biggest sword
That
someone
seems
should be
that,
wielding.
yeah. You think they're too big and it doesn't make sense that they're wielding
it's
it.
stupid. It's freaking 300 pounds of metal. You're just swinging around with a hand.
Well, I just love how Cloud swings the Buster sword. I mean, he literally carries that thing with one hand, like 90% of the
Mhm.
time, and it is like
Mhm.
about the size of him.
Yeah, that
Like-
makes sense.
So
So
that
what, hold on, I want to get your opinion then. What about these Zweihander swords?
pretty
they're-
cool.
Well, those
They're-
are just
they're
long.
claymore.
Those are just
Mhm.
long swords.
Oh yeah.
They're just like the super long swords. Like they're
And these are real. They've
Okay,
been
yeah,
they
no-
were used in
Mhm.
actual warfare.
But
Yeah, like-
those are double hand. Like you
Those are
use both
double-handed.
hands to like.
Or what about the one made out of the bill of a swordfish?
See, Ben's not talking about real life swords,
I-
though, Kyle. He's talking about in video games where they're just the size of an
So, yeah.
AK, you know, a giant, like Air Force One, you know?
I walked in on my brother playing Elden Ring yesterday, and his character is dual wielding these massive hammers, where just like
Mhm.
the head of the hammer is about the size of his character.
Yeah.
And he's got
yeah,
two of them.
that's
He's
what
just-
I
that's
like
what
that.
Ben is talking about.
I just I can't. And also, Side note, freaking using farmer scythes.
You don't like the
So
sights?
even I hate it even more than oversized weapons
Yeah.
because
Wow.
scythes do not work as a weapon. They use quote unquote scythes as weapons in medieval combat, but when they did that, they took the blade and then flipped it 90 degrees because it doesn't work to have it turned at a 90-degree angle.
What do you mean? You can just
It doesn't work. They've tried it.
We've tried it.
Why do
Ben
you-
himself has
Ben
tried
has
it.
tried it. Don't know, Mythbuster style.
No, I agree though.
No,
it's not feasible.
It's so dumb, and it's so common in anime for some reason. Like they think the scythe is so cool.
The Japanese just like their weapons, I guess.
I mean, it
they come up
definitely
with
has a
creative ways.
striking visual effect, and I feel like part of that is just because of the Grim Reaper.
Yeah,
as a
it's
prominent
just the
symbol.
Reaper. That's all it should be used for because like he's reaping. So I don't know. This peeves me so bad. I don't know why.
He doesn't
But-
like anime swords.
And like oversized swords and scythes. I saw a video popped up on my freaking Instagram feed the other day, and I was like, "Who's the best scythe wielder in anime?" I'm like, none of them because they all
They're all
suck.
awful.
Oh man.
I hate them so
You know,
much.
I was kind of thinking about this, but have you ever noticed that like most of like the iconic weapons for media are like you have a lot of iconic swords, right?
Oh, a million
like
and a half.
ton, and you have like a few iconic guns, you know, and like different things like shields and things. But you really don't ever see like iconic spears. Like
I want more iconic pole arms.
the only one
I'm
I
gonna
can
say that
even
right
really
now.
think of off the top of my head is like the Mandalorian's Beskar spear, and like
Well, that maybe it's just because
even then he didn't
spears
keep
are
it,
kinda
and he
like-
melted
barely
it
used
down.
Yeah, like I don't
Maybe
know,
to a
like-
stupid chainmail vest.
Maybe
Never
it's
even
just
see.
because spears are they just like don't want to have to go through the problems of writing the person using it properly. I mean,
think
but when
this-
a spear user uses a spear like really well in a show or a
cool,
movie, it's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Pole arms have so many things you can do with them. They're so cool.
The spear was the most common weapon in
Yeah.
medieval combat because
Oh,
like you
except-
just
Well,
you
it's
take
range.
Actually, the
yeah.
mace, because that's even easier to make than a spear.
yeah, but you just take a farmer, put a pole in his hand, and just
I guess,
stick a $5 metal tip on top, and then you've got easy
Yeah.
weapon. Like
Mm-hmm.
I
it's
guess,
much
like,
cheaper
trident-
than swords and stuff.
Tridents are technically pole arm, right? You see those
They are
kind
pole
of
arm.
like you got like different like
Occasionally.
water-based people's.
All
Sorry,
right,
like-
let's rein this in.
Sorry,
Aquaman's
yeah,
trident.
we've gotten.
Let's
way
rein
off
this
topic.
back
Sorry,
in.
I had to rant just because
Let's rein
we brought up
this back
oversized
in.
swords, and I had just like I can't stand it. It's
On the
so
topic of
stupid.
media, though, Cort, why don't you tell us about the Last of Us TV show?
Oh, the last
It's,
of Us. Yeah, so the last
was
of Us
really
TV
good.
show finished up. This last episode really good. I'm consistently amazed how they managed to take the source material, treat it with such respect, and yet make something new and equally as good out of it. There were some parts of the last bit that I'll admit I was a little like, I didn't love it because they changed it so it would fit smoother with the second game,
Mm-hmm.
which they're gonna make in the next couple seasons.
Mm.
Which, but
Maybe they'll make it better.
Mhm.
but I understand why they made the changes because it makes it makes it fit more smoothly with where they're taking the story. But honestly, like
10 out of 10
really
would
can't
recommend.
complain. Like I mean, not a 10 out of 10, but like
9 out of 10.
really solid. Best video game adaptation, whether TV or movie that we've seen.
I say live
Wow.
action.
Live,
Arcane's pretty good.
okay, yeah, live action. Arcane and Sonic the Hedgehog. No, but
I mean, Sonic is okay,
it was
but
good. It was
Those-
good.
It's okay,
Those movies
it's-
were fun.
It's a fun movie, not a
Yeah.
good movie, but a
I think
fun
so,
movie.
I think the Sonic the Hedgehog movie should be the bar. Like you need to
Like
make
the
us. You need to
low
make
bar.
a video. Well, no, I'd like the respectable. But anything worse than that is not considered a good movie.
Yeah.
Like the
That's
Sonic the
yeah.
Hedgehog movies, if you can make a video game movie at least as good as those, you've got a quality
Yeah.
movie on your
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
And then
That's-
Arcane
that's
is
good.
the high.
Or if you can make something like Arcane or like,
Then please do.
please do.
Please do. Please do.
We'll see how this Mario movie
Or
goes.
Cyberpunk
the
Edge
Mario
Runners.
Or
movie.
Cyberpunk
Yeah.
Edge Runners. Yeah,
Oh,
But
yeah, I haven't seen
those are your bars.
So I was getting worried because like the last episode was filmed in Salt Lake.
Mm.
I was worried they were just gonna
Really?
like, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
that's
the
right, because
temple
it-
was
it
in the
does-
game.
The
Yeah,
temple was in the
it
game.
was.
in the game.
And I was-
It's not
I
in
was-
the show, which is
No,
sad.
it was in the show.
Oh, really?
The thing is, they filmed on location, and the temple is currently covered in scaffolding.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's-
so, like, I looked at the map, like the map of Salt Lake, and based on where they were,
Mhm.
the temple was right behind the tabernacle.
Yeah.
Oh, did
And
they
all-
purposely try and kind of hide it with the shots?
Well, no, it's
Or is it-
that's where it was in the game too. It's just the thing is that like it's all faded and foggy and whatever. And
It
all
is
you,
there, just
All you
covered
can see
in,
is a reddish blob because it's not in focus.
it's covered in scaffolding.
And it's covered in scaffolding, so like you don't
Interesting.
see like at least a faint outline. So I was worried. When I first looked, I was like, "Oh, they got rid of the temple. Come on, man, you hate the church that much?" But no, it was just.
I mean, I understand why it's
Yeah.
covered in fog. If they probably VFX that fog in because they're like that. The temple doesn't look very good right now.
I love that part in the game because when you look out at the Salt Lake skyline in the game, like you can see the temple
Oh, yeah.
prominently. Like
Yeah.
it is like
It's really cool.
It's
really cool.
really really cool.
And they even like remembered the Hogel Zoo because there's zoo animals running wild,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, which was
it's
quite
pretty cool.
the attention to detail.
Yeah.
You can tell there was a lot of love put into that part of
Yeah.
the game.
I mean, The Last of Us really showed, like, it's just adaptations in general, where you just show so much respect for the original source material
Mm.
and do it, like, even if you're doing it literally word for word sometimes, it still works. Because,
yeah.
I mean, like, The Last of Us, for at least most people, haven't played it. And so they don't know all those things.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's not like you're just rehashing the same story for them. This is a completely new story. So, like, since The Last of Us was so good, you just retell the story and just make small changes. Like, for example, the little brother, is his name Sam?
Yeah.
Sam, yeah, the little brother being deaf.
Oh yeah.
Like, it did nothing to change the overall story,
But it added to his
but
character.
it added to his character and
Well, like-
honestly made it a little bit better. It was more interesting.
Well, that's kind of spoilers actually. I probably should.
Yeah, I mean, not
Don't
say
tell.
anything like
but
that.
here's something that's interesting. I was wondering if you were going to bring this up. I saw this article this morning.
Mm.
Medical residents are in an uproar over the ethics of The Last of Us finale, specifically
Oh, yeah.
about medical stuff going on in there. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but
Well, there was a bit of discourse about that when the game came out, but it was just on a much smaller scale, just because the game
It was a game.
was a game and there wasn't like as much attention on it. But yeah, it's like, and that they almost draw more attention to that in the game. That like, oh, like they're doing some medical stuff, but like, are they really doing some medical stuff? Like, it's pretty iffy, you know. Anyway,
Just a bunch of people.
So
who
are
haven't
they
played the
upset
game.
because they changed it? Not they changed it, but they made it. The story goes that he takes Ellie away.
well, I think there are doctors that are upset by how scuffed the operation is that they're trying to how they're trying to find. the
Clearly,
cure.
they haven't played the game. Then I mean, it's
Well, I mean,
like,
like-
Well, no, and that's how it is in the game.
like
right?
don't blame the show writers for trying to keep to the source
Oh, yeah,
material.
No. Like they're not like blaming the show writers, but they're using it as like a
Well, I think
Adding
that's
it to
kind of the whole point. It's
yeah,
like
exactly.
this isn't. It's never like none of the stuff ever happening in this show is ethical.
Oh,
Yeah,
Like
no.
it's rarely ever is,
Yeah.
and that just goes to show. Like once humanity goes out the window,
And so do lots
So
of
does-
humanity's rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, that's kind of showing. Like, and that's why Joel did it.
Yeah.
Did
Although-
what he did.
I will say the whole scene with Joel in the end, I liked better in the game. It made more sense in the game than it did in the show.
Fair
Mhm.
enough.
Which, again, is because it has to lead into the second season, and so I understand why they did it. But that's the one part that I was like,
Sick.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know it's good just from everything I've seen.
No,
so.
really, really good show. Really worth watching.
Moving on, the Twitch's CEO Emmett Shear, he resigned earlier
Goodbye.
this week.
Why does that guy look like every suburban dad I've ever seen in my life?
Oh boy.
No, he's right though.
He is. I mean, what's funny is, you want to know why he resigned?
Why?
Because he's a dad now.
Hey.
So when speaking about his resignation, the thing that he focused on most was the birth of his first child and about how he wants to be more there for him. He said, "I want to be fully there for my son as he enters this world, and I feel ready for this change to tackle new challenges." He said he's going to stay with
respectable.
he's going to stay at
Yeah,
Twitch
very
in an advisor, as an advisor, but he won't be like the CEO anymore. Dan Clancy, who's currently the president, will be the next CEO, which is odd that usually you have a president or a CEO,
Yeah, no,
but
you have both.
Twitch has had both. I don't know who the new president is, but
It's me. I'm the new president of Twitch.
He became president of Twitch so that he could get more Fortnite streams on there. It's all part of his master plan.
yeah, it
Every single video game is changed to Fortnite.
they're all Fortnite.
And Among Us. Among Us gets a pass.
So I mean, Twitch under Emmett, I mean, he's been the CEO since 2011 because he was the co-founder.
Mhm.
I mean, say what you will about Twitch in its current state, it's got issues, but I mean, gaming live streams as they are today would not exist if it were not for Twitch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like Twitch, despite its problems, is still a very good platform. It just needs some tweaks.
So
Well, that's honestly a super respectable reason. To
Oh,
step
very.
in.
That's a very
Like, being like,
respectable
I want to
reason.
spend time with my son, and like, you know, as the acting CEO of Twitch, he's probably got enough money that he can retire right now. And not
Yeah,
have
that's
to worry
probably
about
why
money
he's
for the
just
rest
in
of
an
his life.
advisory role.
Yeah, and like, so he just wants to spend time with his little baby boy. Like, I love that.
I understand
respect
that.
so much. You know.
yeah, as someone with a son on the way myself,
Yeah, you
I
need to stop
understand
working
that.
at Twitch, Kyle.
Yeah, I need to resign.
to
I'm
step
actually
down
the
as the
president of
CEO.
Twitch.
The Twitch CEO, you need to step down, buddy.
They blew my cover.
They blew my cover. So yeah, Emmett Shear, he resigned, so they'll have a new president, a new CEO. We'll see if Dan Clancy if he has any changes he wants to try and push.
Yeah.
I know that the community is very vocal about Twitch's interesting decisions as of recently in terms of revenue shares and stuff, but
They need to make it so that when I'm watching a Twitch stream, the ads don't show up exactly when like something important is happening.
or
'Cause
even
I
make
feel
it
like
so
it's-
the ads don't show up immediately so that I can check out a new streamer without
just
having to watch an ad.
Make the ads appear at the bottom or something. I don't know. I never
Banner
watched Twitch.
ads.
Yeah, like banner
I would
ads?
take animated
would take-
banner ads
I would-
over full screen
I would take a
ads.
banner ad over the course of an entire stream if I never have to watch a full screen ad again.
Mhm.
You hear that, Twitch? If you just put a banner ad over, a third of an entire broadcast that doesn't like obscure things, I'll take that over normal ads.
Just
yeah.
just make it split screen. Honestly, like even if
Even
as
yeah,
long
if
as
it
I'm still-
shrinks, because like they have this where it like goes full screen and the stream like minimizes, but it goes mute and it's so tiny you can't read anything.
Mhm.
So we'll see what happens with Twitch. Also, continuing with the Microsoft versus Sony saga, it continues
we
more.
go.
It continues.
Drama.
So
The saga
Sony continues to fall, like lose more and more ground. Like they're tripling, quadrupling down on this Call of Duty argument, and Microsoft just goes, "You think we're gonna take away Call of Duty? Well, watch us make another exclusivity deal and another exclusivity deal." They've made 2 more, so they made. It's like they've made so many now. So they made a deal with 2 cloud gaming platforms.
Oh,
They
man.
made one with the Taiwan-based Ubitus, which kind of it's been using technology to bring games to Nintendo Switch and elsewhere in the past decade. So like
Interesting.
and thanks to you, like the 2 of the Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Resident Evil were able to be on the Nintendo Switch,
I always loved Control.
or at least runs on their kind of software.
Mhm.
So like that's like
That's kinda
I've
cool.
never heard of these people,
Well,
but
I've heard. I mean, I've heard because it says Control was also by them. Like
Yeah.
also, and Control I've heard actually runs pretty smoothly on the Switch.
Mhm.
Through the cloud.
Nice.
so
Like
they
said,
signed an
from, like,
exclusivity deal with they signed the exclusivity deal with them, as well as I believe the Ukrainian-based Boosteroid, which is also
Boosteroid.
I've never heard them.
What a name.
They're an independent cloud streaming company with about 4 million users globally,
Nice.
including in the EU, UK, and the US. So it's another 10-year agreement. So Microsoft now has 4 10-year agreements, and I've seen some things that I think they have an exclusivity deal with Valve, don't they? Just to have Call of Duty on Steam. They have something
know.
to have it on there. So they are just like, you keep complaining about Call of Duty. We're just going to make exclusivity deals that you turned down, Sony. Like Microsoft, when they were talking about it, they were like, yeah, no, they keep when they talk about Sony, they're like, yeah, they keep dragging their feet. We have no plans to make a deal with them anymore because they just don't want to be there. And like when Sony's like one of their heads like commented on it, they're like, we don't care about your deals. We just care about stopping your merger. Like Sony, they're like sole like a thought processes. We do not want this to happen.
And I can kind of understand
like,
because, like, yeah, they could say that there's a deal right now, but then 10 years in the future, they're like, just kidding, Call of Duty. is
Yeah,
an
but
Xbox
it's
exclusive now.
but the
very
problem
long
is, has
game.
Microsoft ever done that?
No.
And so what's
Yeah.
funny is that with all these deals, Microsoft is getting more and more support from
Well,
other
kind
game
of.
from other game
Because like
companies.
Starfield is a Bethesda game, but it's only coming out on the Xbox and PC. It's
Yeah.
not. The PS5
There is
isn't
that.
getting it.
Yeah,
But, like,
it's
the
still
other-
just, like,
But
I don't
still,
know,
yeah.
Sony's just over there like, I don't care if these other companies win. I just want Microsoft to lose.
Yeah, but
And
it's like
utterly failing.
they
Yeah.
are Microsoft. This deal is getting more and more support from other game companies, just dozens on dozens, and most of them haven't wanted to like publicly say, but they've done anonymous like supports. Currently, 4J Studios is like I think the only one that has publicly said like their support, which they're the ones that developed Minecraft for the consoles, and so they kind
makes
of
sense.
talked about their experience with Microsoft and Minecraft. and they were like, we've never been under any pressure to favor Minecraft on Microsoft-owned formats. They've also brought significant stability and rigor to our contractual and commercial relationships, and have been both fair and professional in all our dealings with them. Others have said we believe that consumers' tastes and preferences in the video game space cut across the board a variety of games and across a variety of platforms. Another CEO, he says, in my experience dealing with Microsoft, they always honor their contracts and obligations. I believe them, and I believe it is in their interest as well as the industry to keep Call of Duty available on all platforms. And even Tencent is like, someone like brought up the fact that like Tencent is an active investor in Activision, like basically like essentially co-owns Activision. And one CEO was like, if Microsoft is prevented from acquiring Activision, would the UK consumers feel better if it were acquired by Tencent instead? So like all of these companies are like saying like we've had no problems with Microsoft.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is there was a market participant. It's just market participant E is what they're labeled, who's worked with both Xbox and PlayStation. And they opened their statement with, on PlayStation, we found our sales growing stagnant with each release, mainly due to the fact that despite PlayStation have a lying share of the player numbers in console sales, that share is mainly provided to larger titles from huge publishing labels who are willing to spend lots of money on marketing. This means that on PlayStation, it simply isn't a playing field for every other publisher and developer, meaning like indie. But then they said on Xbox, the opposite has been true. There are numerous means of players finding your game on Xbox, including special sections for games that have smaller player numbers in consoles than that on PlayStation. So this participant is like, Microsoft has been much better with the indie community than PlayStation has.
I mean, I can kind of understand why PlayStation would be in such a fight or flight mode, because like you've got the massive success of Xbox Game Pass that Sony has not even really been able to replicate or fight at all. It's like if Microsoft suddenly starts acquiring all these different things and Game Pass keeps taking off, Sony's going to be irrelevant in the next like a little bit.
That's their fault, though.
Yeah, and so it's kind
you
of
think
like,
Call of Duty will single-handedly make Sony go irrelevant?
And it's kind of like, so I can understand why they're feeling like pushed up against the wall and like we need to fight this or nothing. But I feel like it is a bit.
It's a losing battle at this point.
The wrong fight to fight, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Rather than spending all their energy like worrying about, oh, Microsoft is going to beat us up, like focus that energy on making
your stuff better.
Products better so that they can stand up
Because
to
It's like you guys
to
hit a
Microsoft,
home run
you know?
with the new God of War games. Keep going. Keep making stuff.
Make the PlayStation version of Game Pass. Like, I don't know.
Well, and
but
what's
make
funny,
it
it's
good
like
and not whatever
Sony
that thing
Sony is
right
so
now.
worried that like, oh, Microsoft is going to take Call of Duty off, instead of being like worried like, but if all these Activision titles are on Game Pass, that's going to steal our player. Like, I think Sony's less worried. Like, I think deep down Sony knows Call of Duty's not leaving PlayStation.
Yeah.
They're more worried about the fact Call of Duty is probably going to be put on Game Pass, because I don't think it is already. Is it? So it's like, if you put Call of Duty on Game Pass, well, more people who like Call of Duty would be inclined to buy an Xbox instead to get Call of Duty on top of everything else.
That's the thing is, once Call of Duty goes onto Game Pass will have all of the big three of FPS, like first-person shooters,
Call of Duty, Halo,
available for, for free, but like for subscribers. Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield games. All of those games will all be on Game Pass, and it's like, and the Doom games and other things like that.
Well, and like
original
by
FPS shooter.
by acquiring, if they acquire Activision Blizzard, they will own like one of the titles, like the poster child for first-person shooters in Call of Duty in terms of like recognition. The poster child in terms of MMOs in World of Warcraft. They'll own like one of the most successful mobile games in history in Candy Crush.
Yeah.
Like Microsoft, and on
then
top of already
Minecraft.
having Halo and Minecraft, like they're gonna have a
Yeah.
lot of big name IPs
Yeah.
that are still be available on PlayStation, but Microsoft will have them on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you think they will ever port World of Warcraft to console?
I don't know.
Could you imagine
That'd be interesting.
World of Warcraft bundled into a Game Pass subscription?
I will
There's
say-
your money printing.
And as much as I understand why PlayStation is so like desperate about this, the thing is that Xbox is being so consumer friendly.
Yeah.
Game Pass is such a killer deal. I mean, the fact that I can just pay like 16 bucks
Bunks.
for a month and play literally
Almost do whatever
hundreds
you
of,
want.
like, really high quality, like AAA games. Like, I've never played any of the Hitman games, but I've been like kind of like it's been something that I've wanted to try out for a while. If I want to, I can just download
Well,
them.
and
They're
if you
all on
pay,
Game Pass.
and if you
Like,
pay just a little bit more, you can play them on your computer as well.
yeah, no, exactly.
Like,
And so it's like, it's I don't know.
Sony, you're falling behind, but what's funny is that you have a majority of the market share in terms of like player base.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Microsoft is like, I don't know if I think they're dead last in terms of consumer sales just because Nintendo hit a home run and then some with the Switch.
Oh yeah.
It's like Microsoft is so far behind and yet Sony's like so worried about them.
Yeah.
Like
Kick them while we're down.
Maybe.
they're making it seem like it's the other way around though. So we'll continue to see what moves on. Microsoft continues to just make things better in their favor and swaying public opinion. But currently, the big thing stopping them are the UK's consumer division, and then the FTC is still like very hesitant to let the deal go through. But they have China support as far as I know, and they have several other countries support. They have game companies support. They probably now have Nintendo support. Like. They're just waiting on the UK and the US to like see if it's okay. So we'll see what happens. How about Hogwarts Legacy again? What's
more Hogwarts Legacy?
Well, this one's quick.
Yeah.
Basically, Hogwarts Legacy released for PC and current gen consoles back in whatever, and then they announced that the last gens, like PS4, Xbox One versions, would be releasing, I think, right around
And
now,
Switch.
like
And
end of March.
Switch.
Well, and then the Switch one was supposed to be like July.
Ah.
And then they just recently announced like, hey, we can't get it quite working yet. We're pushing the release of the last gen to, I think now it's like
May 5th.
It was May 5th.
And then the Switch back to July 25th.
And then the Switch, yeah. And it's like
probably just due to technical limitations.
and it's true, and it sparked a big debate over like, is it time to just let the old consoles die?
Yeah.
The answer is yes, but like,
Stop it. I know you love your Switch. People...
no, okay, the Switch is its own separate thing.
Yeah, the
The
Switch
I
is
think-
different.
Switch-
But
we just
no,
need to
I
switch
think
to-
I think the
but the
Xbox One and
PS4 and the
PS4 need
Xbox
to be
One-
let go in terms
Yeah,
of like
like-
big AAA titles being developed. Because if it takes you this long to try and optimize it for it, it's not worth
Yeah,
it.
it's just not worth it.
Because at that point, who's still going to be trying to buy this game on those consoles?
Especially since like Hogwarts Legacy has this huge amount of success right now, right?
Yeah, no one. It's like
huge-
no one's going to
And
care.
they need to be. I think their resources would be better spent developing DLC and more like additional content for it, or like a sequel.
Because
or
the
something,
problem
rather
is
than
that
trying to
if they-
shove this square peg into a
If
round
they
hole
release
of
it onto
trying
these
to
past
put
gen
all the stuff
consoles
into
and
a
it looks
PS4
like
and Xbox
garbage
One. Yeah.
that's just gonna ruin the reputation of the game. I don't even want to know what it might look like on the Switch.
Well, I can't imagine that they make it run on the Switch without cloud.
Because like Nintendo it's their console, they're able to get their stuff optimized, but you know
It's
the new Zelda
Hogwarts.
game isn't trying to be photoreal.
It's Hogwarts Legacy. Just turned into Legos.
Yes.
Lego Hogwarts Legacy.
No, Hogwarts Legacy. Come
Hogwarts
on.
Like I'm gonna be honest, please don't try and force this onto the Switch. It's not gonna be pretty.
That's
It's
the
gonna
only way I see it working on.
like they're
I
gonna have to
mean-
down res so much that it's just not even gonna be
Here's
worth
the thing,
it.
though, here's the thing. We got some decently high res textures with the newest Metroid game.
Yeah, but that's a Nintendo title.
Exactly. I'm just saying, if Nintendo lends a hand on this optimization,
They're not.
Yeah.
Nintendo,
But if-
know Nintendo, they don't like playing nice with other companies that want to
Yeah.
put stuff on their thing.
That's fair enough. But I mean, if they do manage to pull it off,
It'll be.
if they manage to do it with the same level of polish as Nintendo's optimization, which that's
Don't-
a big if.
They couldn't even do it with a
And
Pokemon game.
It's
Come on.
not impossible.
No, that's just
I
because
mean,
Game
like,
Freak is incompetent at 3D game design.
it's
That's
not
another
impossible. I
topic
mean, like Lego
entirely.
Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga
But
came
again,
out,
it's photorealism is what I'm
but
worried
yeah,
about.
like
It's
on the
like
Switch, and
you can
runs
make
great.
modern AAA titles work on the Switch with the cartoony kind of art style like Zelda does, like with Lego Star Wars does, but like Overwatch can't even run at like max frame rate on the Switch. And that game was 6 years old. If Overwatch can't, you think Hogwarts Legacy is gonna be able to?
That's just because Blizzard is incompetent at making 3D games.
Hey, my argument.
I
with
actually
Game Freak
would
still
kind of
stands.
agree with that in a sense that I think Overwatch could have run better had Blizzard optimized it better.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think it should have been on the Switch to begin with, but that's not
But
here
yeah,
and there.
but yeah, no.
We'll see in
Anyway,
July
We'll see.
what
We'll
happens.
see.
Final
Anyway.
news bit: Magic the Gathering.
Yes,
Tell us
Magic
more.
the Gathering has a new official multiplayer format called Oathbreaker. Now, Oathbreaker's been around for a while. It was fan-developed like a few other formats, but the company Wizards of the Coast has finally created official support for it, so it is now officially folded in with all the different game formats. The thing that makes this different, so I'll explain a few details for people who don't know Magic the Gathering. It's a collectible card game. Like if
It's
you
like the
played
worst version
Pokemon
of
and
Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, this is way better than Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm kidding. I was trying to trigger you. but
You're
okay.
getting vanished to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
Nothing personal.
Magic the Gathering is a very fun card game. You build a deck of cards, you play with it, you try to beat the other player
Oh,
by
Pokemon.
wearing down their life total or having a card with a win condition that you fulfill, something like that. And in the Oathbreaker format, you have these two cards that you have in this place called the Command Zone that you can just pull out of there at any time during the game. You have a Planeswalker card, which is a special card type with special abilities. If you want to know more, just look it up. And then you have a signature spell.
What kind of?
Now, normally, you can only cast a spell card from your hand once. Sometimes they'll have an ability that lets you recast them from your graveyard. But the signature spell, you can cast from the Command Zone over and over and over and over again. And that's what makes the Oathbreaker format
Ugh, what the
unique.
heck? Whoa.
But it's not free, though, because you still need to pay
It's
the
Wizards of the
cost
Coast.
to cast it. And
Of course, it's not
of course
free.
it's not
It's
free.
not
It's
free.
Wizards of the
Nothing's
Coast.
free from the
Remember
Wizards of the Coast
the D&D
anymore.
open gaming license controversy? Nothing is free.
Just make it
Anyway.
your own. Just make your own. Then it's free.
All right. But like it has increased mana cost to cast it every time you do it after the first time. So it
Oh,
there's a
so it's
balancing
stack.
act to it.
The penalty stacks.
The penalty
eventually,
stacks,
to a
yeah,
point
so-
where it's like you've used it so many times, you're now
Exactly.
gonna have to
So
shill
it's
over
not
your
like I
firstborn
could take
child to use
lightning
it.
bolt and play it a million
Not yet.
times to do 3 damage every time
Not
for
Lightning
cheap.
bolt.
That'd be
Lightning
Lightning
bolt.
bolt.
so overpowered.
Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt.
Lightning
Is this a
bolt.
line from a video game? Some
It's from.
character-
It's a LARP video.
Oh, it's a LARP video.
Yeah, it's like everyone, they're all doing this LARP, and then there's this guy dressed in this like full wizard fit, and he's just going around like, what is he throwing? He's like
It's like-
throwing like little like
I don't know. I
Lightning
don't remember.
bolt.
And
Oh, he's just going lightning bolt.
lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt. It's so funny.
It's so funny.
Yeah, but anyway, the new format officially adopted by Magic the Gathering. We may see more cards designed specifically for that format, tournaments hosted with that format, maybe even decks built around it that you can buy pre-assembled at game stores. Those
Or
haven't
just
come
draw
out
your
yet,
own and it's
but
still
they
free.
could be in the future. So yeah,
It's nice that they're like taking something that the community made and making it official.
Oh,
and
yeah.
incorporating.
because
it.
like they
Like,
did the
it's
same
good.
thing with Commander. Commander is the most popular format to play Magic the Gathering in, and that was also fan created.
Yeah.
And now they have like you can buy Commander decks. They will come out with entire sets of cards focused on Commander.
Yeah.
Like it's
Look
it's
at them
impressive how
going
they do
about embracing industry trends that were started 30 years ago.
But no, it's good. Like I think that's a
No,
good
it is good. It's just funny though.
thing.
It's like wow, they're incorporating player-made stuff in the the video game industry is like we literally have a whole game genre that was developed by people like 20 years ago.
Yep. But it's good to see that they do appreciate the creations of their fans. So I think
yeah.
that's
They
good.
appreciate the money they can earn.
Yeah,
from the
they
creations of their
appreciate the
fans.
money.
That's true. And speaking of money, I just remembered this. There's they've teased for a long time, but it's finally coming out. The new Magic the Gathering set that's a collaboration with Lord of the Rings. So you can get Gollum, Sauron.
That better be a
Gandalf.
move set for Gandalf. Just a move is called "You shall not pass,"
That'd be amazing.
and it
But-
prevents your opponent from.
Well, it's not like a
passing-
move. That would have to
passing.
be like a card, like a sorcery or something. Anyway, there is a card though that is the One Ring, and the fun thing, it fits really well in one of the decks I'm running in Magic the Gathering. But here's a fun thing: they're making a special one-card printing of the One Ring, written in one of Tolkien's languages. I think it's the same Elvish that's on the ring itself.
But the ring
And
itself is written in the dark.
It's
Language
it's
of
an
Mordor.
old form of Elvish that
Oh,
is
is
the
that?
Dark Tongue of Mordor. Yeah.
And so you just
Um,
get like you have a random chance of getting the golden ticket, quote unquote.
Kind of, but there's only one of this card.
Now, see,
ever
if
printed.
you want that card, print your own,
And so it's in some random booster pack somewhere. People have
or in
already-
your printer on your hard drive.
But for the genuine one, made by
There it
Wizards of the
is.
Coast, people are already putting up bids online for like the first one was for $100,000 for whoever can sell them this one card.
Huh.
Because Magic the Gathering cards actually there's a lot of value in them. I mean, probably my collection is probably worth a couple $100. And that's on the low end. There are some cards that are thousands and thousands
Is there
of dollars.
anything else special about this one card besides the fact that it's just written in a Tolkien language?
It's because it's rare.
and it's rare.
It's rare. It's the only one. It's a Tolkien thing. It's collectible.
One
Yeah.
of one.
It was anticipated that
One
just
of
collectors
one.
would be very hyped over this, and it would
It-
fetch a very high price.
It's interesting that can make them so much money because people will be buying these things like crazy trying to get that one. You
Oh
know?
yeah,
And all
it's
they're
gonna
doing
boost
is
sales
literally
so much.
is literally just like changing the language on one of their cards, printing it, and then randomly putting it into one of the things, and it's going to make them.
Well,
so
it's
much
like it
money.
also
Like,
has special art and stuff like
Oh,
that.
it does?
It's a very special card. It's got a very cool design,
Mm.
but like yeah, they knew how much people love just collecting rare Magic cards and high value Magic cards, and they totally took advantage of that. with
Wow,
this.
wow.
and it is
Um,
now the One Ring.
It's
so.
the One Ring, so
Mm.
if you find it, sell it.
You can make a
Hey,
For
lot
at
of
Colin.
money.
least $100,000 to Dan Brock, or whatever his name is.
Yeah, whatever his name was. But like, yeah, I mean, heck, $100,000, I could have gone to college for free with that. You know,
Yeah.
well, not for free. I would have been able to afford it easily.
Yeah, if you have
financial
enough
aid.
money for anything, it becomes free.
You get-
Financial
you
advice from Kyle.
gotta- I misspoke.
Anything is free with enough money.
I can finally upgrade my graphics card, guys.
$100,000.
I mean, hey, you could do a lot with 100K. And
All right.
That's like the first bit.
That is all with news. So, have you guys ever played a game?
Nope.
And you're like,
Nope.
have you ever played a game? No,
Never.
but we're
in
all
my
on this
life.
podcast. Have you ever played a game that's like really good and you like finish it and you're like, man, that felt really good. I want to play some more of these games. And then you realize
It's
there
not
aren't
there.
any more.
There's no more. And it's frustrating. And yeah.
Today we want to talk about games like that.
Yeah. So I hope you don't mind if I start off.
Well, how many does everyone have? I only have two.
I've got a handful.
I've
Got a few.
I've got at least one big one and maybe a few others.
Just the reason I got it is because there's a bit of a story that I want to share with all of you, which is why I suggested we do this topic this episode in the first place.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. We cool?
Yeah,
Good?
sure.
Okay, cool. So, this was the night before.
Christmas.
What did you
You
say?
had to be there. You just had to be there.
I have to go and watch the episode
You
after
have
it
to be
comes out to
there.
hear what you said, huh?
Maybe.
No. You said
No, don't tell him. Continue.
okay.
I heard
You see, he said, okay.
Anyway, so it was
You know,
the
you know.
night before
Christmas.
Christmas. We're never going to get through this.
Oh my gosh. Shush.
I will tell you.
Before we recorded our last episode.
Wait, so you
right?
don't want me to interrupt?
Last week. Shut up.
Shut.
The night before we recorded our last episode,
Last Friday.
I was playing with my brother-in-law, Trevor. We were playing Lord of the Rings War in the North.
The best game.
It's a good game.
It's so good.
And we were like getting to this level that looked like it was a big climactic thing. And we're thinking like, there's no way the game ends here. Like we've only touched like maybe half a third of the map. Like there's no way it ends here, right? It ended there.
So did
And
you
it
just
just-
like not explore everything before you finished the game?
No, we completed every level.
Oh.
We finished the missions. We did the whole thing. And then it was just over. And we were like, this was such a good time. And then it was just gone. And so when we got to the next morning, when I came in to record last episode, I wanted to just bring that up, but I was like, no, we already have a topic we're discussing. We got this or that. And I'm like, But it got me thinking, like, I can't be the only one to have this experience. You know, a lot of people must have had the same feeling from some game or other that they liked, but all of a sudden it was just over.
Oh.
And there wasn't enough of it.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And so I pitched it to everybody here.
I may not have that
And-
experience.
But you got to sit.
Aiden's too easy to satisfy.
My games are like games that I just wish had like
Had more.
another game.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
no, that's got.
But and so the topic is like not only maybe more of the same game, but does it not have a sequel? And you want it to have a sequel.
Mm.
Do you want it to be rebooted? Do you want, you know, like a nice remake like they did with Metroid Prime? Something like that. Games that fit that bill. So for me, the first one, the one that brought this up, Lord of the Rings War in the North, it's got this whole story about how Sauron has this servant, a sorcerer, Agendaur, who's his general,
I've
who's
never
like
heard of it before.
doing this
today.
orc invasion from the North
I'm also not a
Mountains
Lord
to
of the
go
Rings
down
guy.
in, and which would basically create
So-
a pincer move between Mordor and Agendaur's army of all of Middle Earth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole way that it plays out is War in the North is a
Is there a
three-player
war?
co-op game.
Yeah, it's a 3-player
So
co-op.
one
War?
guy plays as like a pretty much like your standard like human.
Yeah, we should explain.
warrior.
You've got like basically a mini fellowship. You have
Yeah.
a human ranger, an elf mage, and then a dwarf
Like
warrior.
brawler,
A
warrior.
dwarf
There-
dwarf.
Yes,
The-
just a
it's
dwarf.
Just a dwarf.
And
he has an
basically, it's
axe.
like they're all like relatively well fleshed out characters, but it's just
They
like
are.
the three like so like I played it with it was me, my brother, and my uncle I think, and we played through the whole thing.
You
And
were the
it's just like-
dwarf, weren't you?
No, I was the.
Ah.
No, I played the dwarf.
I honestly don't remember who I was, but I think I was the ranger.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see that.
and it's like, anyway, and it's just the combat's really fun. It's like the exploration's really fun. The story's solid. It's just if you want to play like a fun game with a group of like a few friends or family members, this is the game to play.
It's a great game.
Like it's
They're
just
like
so fun.
all of the different enemies behave differently. There are different strategies you need to go up against them with. The boss fights are very fun.
the combat
The story is great.
quick paced and fun. And
Yeah.
like,
The level design is pretty good too. There's a lot of things to explore, secrets to find. Everything's interesting, and then everything is fully voice acted. Every line of dialogue in the game is fully voice acted, which I respect.
it's an older game, so the graphics do look a little outdated.
Yeah,
They show
that's
their
fine.
age,
but
like it's Xbox 360. It's not that bad.
yeah, it's really not that bad.
And it was just so much fun. And there were quests in the beginning when we put it on. We didn't know what we were getting into. We thought we were getting into Lord of the Rings Skyrim because in the first level there's all these NPCs that give you quests, and you're like, oh, this is like a hub area, and we can go back. And it wasn't. It's a lot more linear.
Just a
but
town.
But it was actually a ton of fun.
Oh yeah,
And we're
it's really
going
good.
through, and the map is all of Middle Earth, and it has these locations with descriptions all the way down to Mordor, all the way up to the Lonely Mountain, and we're thinking like, we're gonna go everywhere. And the story is cool. You get to meet the Fellowship when they make their stop in Rivendell, talk to Frodo and Gandalf. And Gandalf in this game is voiced by the same guy who did the announcer / admiral in Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
very good.
Trouble in.
No.
Warfare on Galaxus, or whatever. Obi-Wan Kenobi leads a daring mission. You know.
They're
I'm
up to
sorry,
the
General
random again.
I'll be able to
Dude,
provide you
I
answers.
watched that
I've seen that
video.
video.
Oh, it's so
It's
good.
so
What
funny.
Stuff
his
is
name?
happening
I
in the
know what his
galaxy.
name is.
Yularen.
Well, the
Oh,
Yularen
no,
is the
the
guy,
actor,
but like the
the
actor.
voice
yeah,
actor.
the voice actor. I forget, but he's
cool.
really good.
He's cool.
And it's like it's good, and you have this whole intermingling story where like you go and provide a distraction to make it so that Aragorn can help the hobbits get to Rivendell in the first place.
He also voices Yoda.
Thomas Kane Roberts, very
Yeah.
nice.
Wow.
Tom King, he also voices Yoda in Clone Wars as well.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
He's pretty cool.
And so like it's this great game, but then all of a sudden, do you guys mind if I spoil the ending? I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I've seen the
No
ending, so-
spoilers.
it just ends so fast, and then they had to make it coincide with the destruction of the ring. You
Of,
beat-
of
Yeah.
the Halo ring?
yes.
Okay, here you go.
No, but like you beat the final boss, and my Trevor and I, we were just like, "There's no way this is the end." And all of a sudden, everyone's like, "The ring has been destroyed. I feel it in my heart." And it's
And
like,
then just roll
what?
credits.
"What?" And then you just roll credits. And the
Dun,
only
dun, dun,
option
dun, dun,
is
dun,
to
dun.
restart the campaign
Dun, dun,
with a
dun.
higher difficulty. And you keep all your gear, but now it's like low tier gear. Your end game stuff is now like what they sell in Bree. What you can buy from this little hobbit salesman in Bree.
Yeah.
And it's like it feels like the ending is so rushed, and which sucks because the rest of it is really good. You have like these eagle allies that you fight with, and there's this whole story, and yeah, I wanted more. I
So
wanted War of the
would you
North
want
to be
a
twice
sequel
or three
or a
no,
DLC to double the size?
I wanted it at the beginning, from the get-go, to be double the length of the story, maybe triple.
Oh, so
'cause
you
it
need
could
a
have
remake.
gone.
You need a
A
remake,
remake
that's bigger.
that's just bigger. More story, more
Yeah.
stuff. We fight Agendour much later. Just more of it. It was
Or a
so
sequel.
good.
Like I'd take a sequel.
Take
but
a sequel,
I'd
but
take
like
a
the
sequel.
ring is destroyed. What do you
Yeah,
do
but
after
maybe
that?
like a prequel sequel, like a
Somehow the
sequel.
ring
Maybe-
returns.
Oh,
The-
yeah.
based
Maybe
off of
so.
the-
How we find out how these three became a team because they
Yeah.
just sort of show
Yeah,
up.
they just started.
Oh, prequel.
But like, but
No,
no,
based off
I
the
do
Rings
think-
of Power Amazon series.
Yes.
Start and just have Matt Smith.
But I do think a remake, like a full
remake.
that like starts earlier and ends later in the stories of these characters, and like is
Absolutely.
like a full like with way more content, would be killer. But like, keep the core gameplay,
Absolutely.
keep the feel of it.
Keep the
100%.
graphics.
Don't keep the graphics.
Update the graphics a bit, but
But
keep
like
the same
started
level
earlier,
design.
so we see how they meet, and then like
Downgrade the
end
graphics.
At the like when the ring
Make 'em
is
worse.
destroyed, but like
N64
put more stuff in between
graphics.
that, you know, like
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
have more like side stuff.
Just
and,
make
like,
it long,
like,
yeah,
lots
and
of-
more quests because there were all these different like side quests at the beginning, and that totally just peters off as the game continues. And it's like, man,
But it's
but
real solid.
it was
Really
it was
fun.
it was still a great game. Highly recommend it. I just want more.
What are you, Ben? What's one of yours?
So I don't know. This doesn't really count. I'm just super excited for it. Hollow Knight Silk Song. Like
Oh,
it's
so you're getting what you want.
but like
Is he?
You're like, I
am I
want
though?
more
It's been quote unquote ready / in production / to be determined.
So you're saying you
For
want
a
more
while.
Hollow Knight?
I want more Hollow Knight, man. Like
That's fair.
okay,
Understandable.
so Scott, we'll talk about music next week.
Yes.
But the music is so good. Like I routinely listen to the soundtrack just
Yeah.
normally because like I just like the themes overall fit so well with the certain bosses you're fighting and like the actual mechanics of themselves work so well. And so like and just like to continue the story playing as Hornet.
John
Yeah.
Hollow.
Who you play as John,
John
Hollow.
Hollow. John Hollow.
So you know what they should do? They need to make a
Master
spin-off
video.
series, okay? And it's
John
all about
Tension.
Zoch the Mighty.
No.
John Rising.
That would I would play that game. Zoch the Mighty. No, that's when they make the Amazon series, right?
A Hollow Knight
Hollow Knight
Amazon original.
series.
Oh, Amazon
Just based
original.
off the little
And it's
little
live
guy.
action Zoch the Mighty.
And they're digging holes.
No, that's the Shovel Knight game.
Mm.
The director didn't
Starring
bother
Shia
to actually
LaBeouf.
play the game.
John Shovel.
John
And
Shovel.
John Shovel and
John
Joe
Shovel.
Knight.
Joe Knight.
Joe Hollow. Team
Joe
up.
Hollow,
my
John Shovel
John
take on the
Shovel.
world
The
together.
crossover we never knew we needed.
Oh man. What about you, Cort? What's one of yours?
Well, so my big one is
Fortnite 2.
Fortnite 2.
Why
Oh.
isn't there a Fortnite too?
No, but really, it's Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Those games
You
were
need a third one,
so
yeah.
fun. The first one, I think I've honestly played the first Force Unleashed more than I've played any other like single game in my life.
Wow.
I have played through the story of the Force Unleashed. I mean, probably at least 5 times.
I've played
if
it through
not
2
more.
or 3 times.
Like, and I've messed around for hours and hours and hours.
all the
Like,
cheat codes
it's
to get the
incredible.
funky
Yeah.
outfits.
But just like moving, I don't know, just the gameplay of it was so fun. The combat is so Star Warsy.
which platform did you play it on?
PC mostly, but I
Man,
played
the
it
Wii
initially
version
on
swing is so fun.
Well, that was what's crazy is the original Force Unleashed had like 3 different versions, and all 3 of them were like completely different.
Oh, yeah,
games.
they
It
all
was,
had different endings.
Stories. Yeah, like anyway, but and like the Wii version had its own like dual system that none of the other versions had. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, and it's on the Switch now though, so you can play it on the Switch. But
Herb, I know what we're gonna do today.
Yeah.
But then the second one came out, and the second one was not as good as the first, but it was still very fun. And it had like that core gameplay that made the first one so fun to play was still present in the second one. The story wasn't quite as good, and it wasn't nearly as long, which was a shame. But it was a lot of fun. And then they left it off on this big cliffhanger, which spoilers for a like 10-year-old game by this point. But like at the end, like they beat Vader himself.
Yeah, they
and
beat
like,
Vader.
and they take him in to like they've got him in custody, and then like Boba's tracking them, and it's like you're like, how is this gonna go on? Like, how is this gonna fit in with like the wider story of Star Wars? You know, like, and like,
And then
It
someone's just like, it doesn't.
well, and that was the thing. And then
Wow.
they just stopped. They just didn't make a new one for a while, and then Disney bought Star Wars
and said it's not canon.
and decanonized everything, and so then they just never got picked up. But it was like those were and still are. I mean, I love the Fallen Order, great game.
Very
but
good.
Force
the
Unleashed,
Force
like
Unleashed game,
the
especially
sheer
first one is
the sheer scale of Starkiller's like powers.
oh yeah,
I don't think that there's any
Jim
other
Starkiller.
Jim Stark. Well, and the amount of like creativity you have and how you because like you can use the Force and just like it was mind blowing at the time and it still is. Just like you can lift
chuck rocks.
everything.
and-
You can chuck people. You can chuck rocks. I mean, it's called the Force Unleashed
You can
because you
grab
literally
Star
are just going-
Destroyers
Yeah.
ridiculously ham with all these force powers. Just
Customize your
shuffling people
lightsaber,
around, you know,
everything.
like,
Yeah.
so cool. Like, and I've got a little bit of that fix in, just a tiny bit from Hogwarts Legacy, because Hogwarts Legacy has like all these different like Wingardium Leviosa spells and like different things like Depulso that let you like
Yeah, but
throw
Force
people
Unleashed
around and like
also-
move things around, but it's not nearly as in depth as Force Unleashed.
Well, and
was.
Force
And it's
Unleashed
like-
has multiple endings depending on how you decide to play the game.
Yeah, if you play it as like a good guy, you get the good ending.
get
If
the
you
good
play as
ending
the
and
bad
bad
guy,
ending.
You get the bad ending. It's like I mean, incredible. Again, the first one is a lot better than the second one, but the second one's still good. But like, I'm just with today's technology, a third one would be just mind
On
blowing.
modern gen consoles, they would be able to up the scale.
And like, yeah. Oh, and the destructibility of it. Like, I mean, there was genre, like, I mean, not genre, but like genre, but like,
Genre.
I mean, just mind blowing, like, industry shattering destructibility in the first one and the second one. And then it's like, take that and add it to what we got, like, indestructibility and interactability with the environment in games today.
Unreal
Force
Engine.
Unleashed 3,
Dude,
yeah.
yeah.
Unreal Engine. I mean, Force Unleashed 3 would be just. But it's like, and like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad
But we
that
know
they're
most
making
game companies can't
Jedi
get up to 3.
Survivor.
It does seem like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're making Jedi Survivor and like doing this whole like Cal Kestis story, because it's good and those games are really good and I like them a lot. But it's like, I would
You just want to
I
blow
would
stuff up.
kill for a Force Unleashed 3, and I mean it. No, just kidding. But like,
I
no,
agree
like-
with you.
No, like I would love that.
That'd be
Such
good.
a great series. Died way before it should have, and it was just incredible. And Star Killer's such a great character too. Like, I don't know. I
You-
love Force Unleashed.
You said you wouldn't. I lied.
I lied. As I have from the beginning. So many good lines and like good I mean, all like
Honestly.
the side characters
The
are
side
solid
characters
too. Like Rom Koda.
Rom Koda's
the
an
blind,
awesome.
like green lightsaber Jedi who's like a samurai type guy. Like, not
And
really a
then the
samurai, but, like, he's
defective.
so
what's
cool,
her?
like-
What's her name? The
oh,
defective.
the defective
The
pilot.
defective pilot.
Juno something.
Yeah, do you know?
And she's like
Proxy is awesome.
Proxy's the best. Like, so many memorable characters. Such good story.
It's kind of funny too because like you'll see. I was about to say like I wonder if Disney just doesn't want to do it because they feel Star Killer gets too overpowered in the game. But then I remembered all the wacky stuff they've been doing with the
Oh,
Force.
Let me heal
You
you.
know?
Let me heal you real quick.
Qui-Gon's like, but
But
I was only stabbed in the.
How many times have they done Qui-Gon dirty, right? Force healing, and then, you know, in the Obi-Wan series, where how many people get stabbed in the exact same spot with a
exact
same
lightsaber
live.
and just live without Force healing?
I think overall the Boba Fett and Obi-Wan series just need to be uncanonized.
most of what Disney has done needs to be uncanonized. But that's a
Except the
whole
Bad
different-
Batch and
I mean,
like,
Mandalorian,
Bad
Bad
Batch,
Batch,
Mandalorian's
Andor.
Andor's good.
And of
Andor's
course,
really
Clone
good.
Wars
Andor's
final
really
season.
good.
Clone Wars final season.
which
is
existed in its partiality
alright, except
before.
I don't like that
Yeah.
Ahsoka has blue lightsabers. Keep her green lightsaber.
But they were a gift, and actually they're
Yes.
more like silver.
And it fits better with the theme of like Maul and his red troopers, and then Ahsoka and her blue.
Well, but her sabers are more
Yeah.
silver-ish.
no, those are the white ones that she gets. in
Oh,
Rebels.
White
I'm
ones,
talking
those are the white
blue
ones in Rebels, yeah. In Clone Wars final season, they're blue. Because
Yeah.
Anakin made
Anakin
them.
made him.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
gave. Well,
Yeah,
I don't
he
know if
gave
he made him, but he gave him.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's a different story. But like,
Star Wars
Force Unleashed was
needs
amazing,
a 3.
and it needs a third one, and I would love it, and I would pay unfathomable. amounts of money.
Unfathomable.
It's without fathom.
Without
how much
fathom.
money I would pay to play a Force Unleashed 3 on
So since
today's
I'm going
consoles.
next, I'm gonna do 2 at once because we're gonna stay on that theme. Force Unleashed needs a 3rd. You know what other Star Wars games also need a 3rd? Or needed a 3rd?
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic and the
Republic.
original Star Wars Battlefront. What's
True.
unfortunate is that they were making the
Oh,
3rd
and
Battlefront,
you can see most of it.
and you
like,
can
it's-
see most of it.
You can play some of it even if through
Like-
these different like mod things.
Dude, they were planning ground to space
Oh, yeah,
combat.
seamless ground to space combat. It looked
Oh.
insane.
So we'll
Why?
start with Battlefront 2.
Why
like,
did we lose
I
this?
love like the Battlefront 2 that EA made after they fixed their horrendous mess was good. But it didn't quite feel the same because it's like it's with so many other genres they go for like the sense of awe and you lose like the arcade style that older games had.
Yeah.
Like arcade style FPS games were hilarious.
Oh yeah.
I love the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 because I don't know, it just
It's so
something
fun. Like,
something
it's
about
so-
it because it's like the newer one, it's like it's cool, but if they like the graphics look awesome and you're like I am being surrounded by tall grass and it is hard to see.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old Battlefronts you're like I'm going to run around on Geonosis and I see everything.
Yeah. Well, what killed me that we never got to see the Battlefront 3 that Pandemic Studios had back.
Yeah, that was
the
working
original ones
on.
They were working on it. Is like, I mean, you look at some of the leaked like gameplay from the like mostly finished.
Like ground to space combat
the ground to
alone.
space combat was insane, but it's like the maps they had
Were massive.
I mean, the maps they had were massive and so varied. I mean, there were full-blown maps in that game for locations that we see on screen in the
like
movies and stuff
Utapau and
for like
like
3 seconds. No, like Cato Nemoidia.
Oh, Cato
They had
Nemoidia,
a
yeah.
full map for Cato Nemoidia, which is like, I mean, you see that planet for like 3 seconds in Revenge of the Sith, and they had a full map for it, and it looked incredible. And it's like they had like a full like city Coruscant map that looked insane. Like,
and if you did it now you have Clone Wars stuff that you can
Clone
pull from
Wars
as
settings.
well.
yeah.
And
And characters,
some of those
like-
stuff from Rebels too. Why not?
Well, this is the other thing, and this kills me. They were mostly done on Battlefront 3 when it was canceled, but they had already started like very, very beginning work on what would become Battlefront 4.
Wow.
With
and their
Clone Wars.
and their idea for it was Battlefront 3's campaign was supposed to be like a Clone Wars.
Oh,
campaign.
okay, yeah.
And then Battlefront 4's campaign, what they had planned for it, and they have like there's like concept art that you can find online for this, but their campaign was like basically a Star Wars what if.
Dude.
So it was like the campaign would be made up of all these little stories of like
What if Obi-Wan
what if
joined
Obi-Wan-
Anakin?
yeah, like what if Obi-Wan had turned to the dark
What if
side? Or
Qui-Gon
like,
hadn't
Luke
died?
joined Obi-Wan, and so then there's all these like they're like they're like what if
Jar Jar
Palpatine had like
was
come out
dark
as the Emperor earlier and trained Anakin from like a young age, like.
What
And
if
there's, like-
Palpatine returned? Oh wait.
What if the Jedi Order had caught on to Palpatine?
Yeah, like,
Ooh.
and it's like, and so there's all these like concept arts of like
Dude.
evil versions of these characters that they would use, or like good versions of Maul, and like good versions of
Darth
Ventress,
Jar
and
Jar.
like a Dooku that never turned, and like
Oh,
it's
that would have
just,
been so cool.
it's so cool, and you can find. I mean, there's like literally like 200 pages of this stuff. That it's all like written out,
Disney.
like concept art made, and it would have been the campaign for Battlefront 4, and there would have been like instant action battles where you could like do like I don't know like evil like
Yoda?
rebel like evil Yoda with like a evil like,
Palpatine.
yeah like like and it just looked incredible, and I'm so sad that we never got it made. Like,
it was too imaginative, too creative.
too
They had to
creative.
shut it down.
Disney would never.
Disney, you cowards.
Disney don't like getting
Wait,
speculative.
was that shut down by Disney though?
No,
'Cause I
by
thought
that
all
point it
canceled
wasn't. No,
well
by that
before
point it was
Disney.
canceled before
Yeah.
that.
Well, Battlefront 3 wasn't canceled till Disney bought, I think,
Really?
because
Because I heard that Battlefront 3 was really only canceled due to office politics.
and that's probably true. I mean, I think there's a good amount of it. I think
Battlefront 3, it was too expensive to make.
They dreamed too big. They flew too close to the sun.
Oh wait, no. Is that the or no? That's the old one. That's the new one. I mean, I don't know how. Let me see. I know that was why there won't be a new one from EA and all of them.
Okay.
Why is Star Wars? I don't. Let me see. Because LucasArts and the developers couldn't come to an agreement on almost. Oh, LucasArts didn't want to include the prequels. Free Radical wanted to base it around the prequels. So that's why. Because like the campaign was supposed to be Clone Wars, and LucasArts was like, no, let's move away from the prequels. Probably because they hadn't made a whole lot of money.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, this was probably at the time where prequel hate was at an all-time high, and people were just endlessly complaining about Jar Jar before, like,
Yeah,
the
yeah. I mean, look
memes
at
took over.
Battlefront: Sith Obi-Wan, Jedi Vader, Jedi Maul, Sith Mace Windu, Sith Luke and Leia,
Yeah.
Feral Chewbacca, Jedi Grandmaster Sidious, Sith Lord Yoda. But yeah, so LucasArts wanted to like scrap like campaign. It wanted to scrap a bunch of stuff, and like Free Radical and Pandemic wanted to have
and
these.
lead into Battlefront 4, which would have been
But
focused on an alternate reality
LucasArts
version of Star
didn't
Wars, where the
want
character's
that.
Morality was flipped.
And then when Disney bought it, yeah, it was completely just binned. And then EA got all that stuff. So that was why LucasArts didn't want all of that stuff. They were like, no, you're thinking too outside the box. Get rid of
LucasArts,
it.
you cowards.
Yeah.
This would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing.
So yeah, that's.
I didn't realize that it wasn't like a what if of different situations. I guess it was just like a straight like what if
Alternate
every
universe. Everything was
character's
flipped.
morality was flipped. Yeah, which
Yeah.
would have been
Which is pretty cool.
So
honestly.
yeah, we'll hold off on the other one. Let's just go back through it. Kyle, what's your next one?
Right. So next one is Starbound. Now, I think I've mentioned Starbound before, like Space Terraria, very fun game. I do think like the progression system where they made it more of a narrative game instead of just progress at your own pace was a fun idea, but just not as good as the original one. But the thing is, you run out of once you beat the game, you run quickly out of things to do unless you just want to go endlessly building. Which
That sounds like Minecraft.
but
Although
like,
Minecraft's gotten better with that.
Minecraft's gotten better. They
Minecraft.
do more things. Starbound has completely ceased development, which is why I currently have 435 mods installed.
Wow, and you really want to have something to do.
That is what it takes.
Sounds like they need a strawberry jam collab.
Exactly. They need just this. And like, I want either Starbound 2 with just so much more content, or just more stuff on Starbound
A
1.
mega mod.
Yeah, because I mean, like, one of the things is, like, it got to a point in the community where this mega mod for Starbound, I've mentioned this before, Frackin' Universe, remember that?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
it was almost considered essential by the community to continue enjoying Starbound after playing through the main campaign, or even just starting with Fracking Universe, because you just didn't have enough in the base game. Which is weird, because there is a lot of stuff, but you realize that you just burn through it too fast.
Yeah.
It's too easy to get through everything, even though there were a few parts where I was very challenged in the early stages of the game, trying to get some of, like, the nice materials to make your good equipment with. But, like, once you get past that hump, smooth sailing. And
You just need more stuff.
there just needs to be more stuff, which is why I have all these mods. Most of them are just to add stuff. And admittedly, some of them are just like,
What
this
the
mod
mods
adds
do.
a single new cosmetic set. Whatever.
Oh.
Sometimes that's how this is such a big number. But a lot of them are like adding new dungeons, post-game
A new
story,
hat.
new...
A new hat.
Some new
Um,
drip.
That's a nice hat.
Hey, fashion in
Some new
Starbound
drip.
is...
That's a nice hat. I think I'll get it.
Oh
Oh boy.
I thought it was neat.
But, like,
How is
there's
this hat
just-
taking up 30 gigabytes of RAM? Oh no.
There's a dungeon inside of the hat.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were Starbound mods of exactly that, actually, because there are some of them that have, like, pocket dimension things. But, like, I have so many of these that just alter and add content.
that's
It just- and I don't have a long story for this. I just want more Starbound. I want more. It's Space Terraria. It's great. Give me more of it.
What about you, Ben? You're one in Subnautica 3, right?
So speaking of Space Terraria,
Terraria.
so
Regular
Terraria was supposed to have like a sort of sequel called Terraria Otherworld,
Yes.
and it never happened. Like there was a full, they had like
Most of them
concept
are
stuff on
canceled
it.
Sequels here.
It was so interesting looking.
It was
I
so
thought it would
interesting,
be
like,
very cool.
and the music was so good too.
Yes.
I've like that. That's also a soundtrack I've listened to a lot because like you
Is
know
the soundtrack fully done and released?
basically
Yeah, when they canceled Terraria Otherworld, they just were like, but here, you can have the soundtrack.
Mhm.
We even put it in the base game of Terraria.
yeah, you can actually listen to the Terraria Otherworld soundtrack in
In
Terraria.
No, but the
itself.
question is are you just like out of stuff to do in normal Terraria, or are you just like, oh dang it, why didn't you release the second one? I'll just keep playing Terraria, but like, come on.
I mean, also like I'm kind of out of stuff to do in regular
Okay.
Terraria. I had to get the Calamity mod, or else I was getting bored.
Calamity.
But,
they still have been adding more stuff to the base game, like the fairly recent edition of Shimmer and stuff like that. That mixes
Yeah.
things up.
But also, I was just like, I want like a whole different experience, like something
Oh yeah.
to
Something
go
new.
beyond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
further beyond.
And so like Terraria Otherworld looks so promising, and I was getting really excited for it. And like, I just
Why was it
also
canceled?
don't remember. I think it was just because like there was a Relogic was just getting too swamped, and like they were saying like, oh, we don't have like the time.
Oh,
to
it was
devote to
too
it.
too big for their own.
Which is hilarious because if they just would take a break from adding more updates to
Terraria.
Terraria, they could just make Terraria Otherworld.
Mhm.
They'd be like, sorry guys, we're gonna stop updating this one. We've got the other one. Although that doesn't usually work. It didn't work for
Mhm.
Blizzard. People got very unhappy.
So Terraria is already a very big game. It has a lot of stuff.
Fair enough,
Just
yeah.
Give us something new. And
All right,
fresh.
Cort, what's your next one?
What?
He's just playing with Grogu.
He
over
just
there.
silently, this is my son.
The other is my son.
Who's
Okay.
the mother?
I mean, y'all seen Yaddle? No. Okay.
No, no, no.
Nope.
Changing subject. Okay, here we go. My last one, or my other one, is not so much a game series itself, or like a game, but a character from.
Oh, you want more of a character?
I want more of the
Yaddle.
Arbiter. No.
Oh.
The Arbiter.
The
Come on.
Arbiter.
I mean, okay.
Yes.
Halo 1, Arbiter's not in. Halo Reach, Arbiter's not in it because that's.
Yeah,
before
It's
Halo.
before
People.
Halo 2 and 3
Halo
are
3
both.
I mean, in Halo 2, Arbiter is the. I mean, it's a there are 2 main characters in Halo 2.
Chief
And
Halo
three.
Arbiter.
Three's the
Chief
same
and
way.
Arbiter. And Arbiter, yeah, I mean, Arbiter's more of like a companion in 3.
He's still there though.
But he's still there. And then, like, you see him, he's not in 4 at all. And then you see him a tiny bit in 5.
Swords of
just, like, a couple-
Helios.
Yeah,
and
like,
then
and it's
that's
cool.
it.
Yeah, like, it's cool. I mean, there's, like, a couple missions that you do with him, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But, like,
What did he do during the time that Chief was frozen in space?
yeah, exactly. Well, and it's
Yeah.
like, he's not in Infinite at all. Like, I mean, there's, like, a little, like, stuffed Arbiter doll that you can find in the open world. It's, like, a little Easter egg, but, like, that's it. Like, I don't even
Consolation
think
prize.
they mention him by
Yeah,
name, if I remember it correctly.
That's a good
And
point.
it's just
yeah.
like, I love Master Chief. I love a lot of the characters, but Arbiter is by far and away the best Halo character, and I will
Mhm.
fight anybody who disagrees. I mean,
No,
his
I
voice
agree.
actor is amazing. His lines are amazing. His whole character arc of being like so devoted to the Covenant, and then throughout Halo 2, I mean,
realizing that it's all a scam.
Arbiter's character and his like character arc is the reason why Halo 2 is my favorite Halo game.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And Arbiter is just such a cool character, and they don't use him anymore.
No.
Like,
Well, he
Arbiter-
came back in 5 a little bit.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
nothing.
like, he's there in 5
Like,
tiny
did
bit,
you-
but it's like
Like Ben 10. Did you ever watch that show growing
Yeah.
up? I remember
Which
the
one?
original Ben 10 TV show.
The good one.
They had, and then they had the like one where he's more grown up, the Ben 10 Alien Force,
Yeah.
something like that, which is also really
Mm.
good. They straight up ripped off Arbiter with that one guy, the other alien that he becomes friends with. It's the same thing. It's the exact same concept, and it was
odd-
still so good.
yeah, no, I mean,
Like
odd
Arbiter's so
tie-in.
good that this random ripoff of him was also amazing.
Was
That's
still
how good
good,
Arbiter
yeah.
was.
So you need a Halo Arbiter.
No,
Well,
what we
no, yeah, I
need
mean-
is for them to just say, screw 4 through Infinite. We're taking this and redoing the storyline where we go
After
with
3.
Chief and Arbiter after 3.
Well,
we do
well-
the whole Swords of St. Helios thing and have Arbiter become the new leader of the
Well,
Covenant.
no, well, you don't even
with
need
Chief.
Master Chief.
I mean, no, like what I wanted was, I mean, like when they were like course correcting with Halo Infinite, which I liked the campaign for Halo Infinite.
You wish that they had integrated
I wish
an Arbiter.
that at the very least Arbiter had some role in the story, but at most, like I wanted. I mean, if your explanation for why he's not there is he's leading the Swords of St.
well,
Helios.
how did he
back on-
become
It's like, then give us a Halo Infinite DLC
of him
With
doing
his
his
that
stuff?
where
with
you
the
play
Swords
as
of St.
Arbiter the
Helios.
whole time, and it's like, I mean, the thing is the way they were directing the series in Halo 2 and Halo 3 was that it was a dual protagonist series with Arbiter and Master Chief as the
Mhm.
main protagonists of the series, and then they just kind of
Forgot about
dropped
Arbiter.
it, and now Arbiter's in like nothing, and I'm like,
But
he
why?
should be like, I want an Arbiter focused DLC. I want
Mhm.
like a, I mean,
Just a
I
full
want an
nother
Arbiter
game.
focused.
Yeah, I think
spin-off
it's just a
game.
spin-off game.
Like I want like a Halo Reach, but it's Arbiter.
I think
Arbiter
I think
Reach.
Arbiter
Halo,
Reach.
it's just
Arbiter
Halo Arbiter.
Wars.
Yeah.
Halo
You
Arbiter.
just call it Halo Arbiter.
But, like, I feel like the problem we're experiencing here is that 343 is worse at consistency than us.
Yeah.
They're worse at
Wow.
They're bad at everything.
But like honestly, could you imagine if the Halo story had been after 3, we get more Master Chief and Arbiter's taking over the Covenant, while Master Chief goes with frontrunner stuff with Arbiter working side by side,
Yeah.
and Chief takes the mantle while Arbiter leads the Covenant, like the mantle of responsibility.
Yeah.
thing. And then the Banished show up and they fight the Banished together. And then like the Banished unleash the Endless at the end of their thing, and then they fight the Endless
Yeah,
together.
I mean,
wouldn't that have been cool?
the direction they were going is this series is setting up for Chief and Arbiter to be the main characters of the series
Mhm.
going forward, and then they just dropped Arbiter like a sack of hot potatoes, and I'm like, I'm angry.
I wanted-
Arbiter is such a cool
Yeah,
character.
no, I
I want more of him.
Yes.
You want more Arbiter, not so much more Halo. You want more Arbiter.
I want more Arbiter.
But the way to get him is
But the
more
way
Halo.
they get him is more Halo, but
Yeah.
343 has proven they're not very good at that. Yes. All right, now it's time to talk about Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
Everyone pretty much universally considers this one of, if not the best Star Wars game
Mhm.
to
I
ever
haven't played it, but one that I've heard.
to
yeah.
n- to ever
Cinematics are goated. That's all I can say. I haven't played it. but
like
cinematics
to
are
ever
really good.
exist in the world. Like it, the second one has its issues because it's one of those
It was
classic. It
rushed.
was rushed. But
Uh-huh.
if you put the restored content mod on Steam and throws, it is. I don't like it as much. But I think it's too complicated for its own good with some things. It's a little too finicky with like the influence system and things like that. But it's still a good game.
Yeah.
And the story was still really
The
good.
story was, but the ending was weird. Like
well,
the
the ending
story,
was rushed,
the
which is
story
why
for
you
the
did the
second
restored
one was
content.
kind of weird because it was like you can't really do anything with it because it's like the end of the game really has no implications on anything.
Yeah.
So, but the first one is amazing, and they announced the remake, and
And
as
then
I said in my
completely
2023
forgot.
wishlist video, I just need something. Come on.
Trailer.
Because the first
He's,
one,
he's like scratching.
the
I just
first
need
one,
Not any more of that.
I just
like-
need it, man, come on.
like, yeah, for today's standard, like the D&D style, like RNG based combat, yeah, it's outdated, but it's still fun to play because no games don't use it anymore.
It could, yeah, and honestly, they could also just do what they did with the Final Fantasy VII remake and use that combat system.
Yeah.
With Knights of the Old Republic, that would be amazing.
Because
Super
it's
down
like
for
the,
that.
the story is really good. The customization options are crazy, especially in the second one where there's like 5 components in your lightsaber you can customize for everything from like the 2 or 3 power crystals to the focuser beam to the color. Like,
Yeah.
Can I
there's
get the crossblades like Kylo Ren?
no, well, they didn't exist
You
back
can
then.
in
Yeah, they
the
did.
new Jedi
Have you
Survivor game. That is one of the forms.
Not
that
at
you can
that
use as
period of. No one
crossplay.
was using those at that period of time.
Have you seen Star Wars Rebels?
Yeah, they were. That's where
Well-
they originated from. Was the Old Republic.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, nobody in the games were using them, so they didn't exist.
That's new canon though.
That's
Yeah.
the
That's
canon.
new canon.
We
that's
don't
all.
care about new canon. New
It's like
canon
no
is
one,
dumb.
no one was using them in real life, not in Star Wars.
So it's like the game is just so well made. There's like it is very close to a perfect game for that time period. Like from 2003, that is about as close to a perfect game as existed at that time. There was nothing wrong with it. There were no bugs. Imagine a completed game, no bugs, no need for DLC.
The
Whoa.
Geneva Conventions say no.
Whoa. And like the twist in it is crazy if you don't know about it. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, everybody knows
Everyone
about
knows
it.
about it.
Yeah.
But like it was like first time playing, if you didn't know, like that
Give
twist
us
is
an Old Republic movie with Keanu Reeves
As-
as Revan.
Revan, please. Dude, that would be sick.
That'd be interesting.
I just need it. I need more Knights of the Old Republic, and I think Knights of the Old Republic 3 was planned. It just never got off the ground. Unlike Battlefront 3, which was like, fully fleshed out and had
yeah.
gameplay. The Knights of the Republic 3, I don't remember if they were gonna go follow Revan's storyline into the outer regions or if they were gonna stay with the Exile. I don't remember what the plans were, but a third one was in kind of planning development, but then BioWare went off and made the MMO, which is a good.
You hesitated.
It's okay. The story,
It's all right.
they did like this weird Revan storyline that like is really weird, and it's okay. It passes, but it's not Knights of the Republic. So it's like I need the Knights of the Republic remake to just actually happen. It seems like now it's pushing like for a 2025 release date is the rumors, and like I'm gonna have to wait 2 more years.
I just hope that those 2 years are full of good.
And it's an
solid
actually,
development.
if it comes out, it's a
Yeah.
glitchy mess. They're like, you
Ugh.
took 4 years for this. So that's what I just need more Knights of the Republic. It's such a good game, and it is my favorite RPG to date. Nothing comes close. It's just so well. It's such a good Star Wars game
Yeah.
because it is the only piece of Star Wars content that even touches that era of the universe.
Yeah.
Everything else, Disney's like, you know, the time between the prequels and the sequels, we're only gonna stay there. Nothing else exists.
I mean, they've done a bit with the High Republic in more recent years, but that stuff's been garbage.
So, what I've learned is that Aiden just wants more Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Star
It's
Wars.
Star Wars that's good.
Star Wars.
Because
Yeah.
Disney's, I mean, it's like some of the games, like Disney's content now is hit or miss.
really.
Whereas
hit or
before
miss.
Yeah.
Disney owned it, say what you will about the prequels, but everything Star Wars released was a hit. Outside of the holiday special.
Well, that was. I swear, George Lucas was on something when he wrote that.
Even he wishes it didn't exist.
Even he
Oh, yeah.
wishes it was
Well, I mean,
gone.
we joked that George Lucas was on something, but the original cast, like Mark Hamill,
dude,
Han
they were
Solo,
on something.
Harrison Ford, I mean, they've actively stated that they don't remember filming the holiday special because they all 3 of them were just wasted as the entire time they were filming.
But like basically everything in the prequel era that came out between Phantom Menace and by the time Disney owned it, everything that came out content-wise, game-wise, like there really wasn't any bad games that came out.
Yeah.
They were all
Dark
really
Forces,
good.
all those, you know,
Dark Forces, Republic Commando, both the Battlefront games, both the Old Republic games, all the Lego Star Wars games,
Heck, even like when they were doing the plug-and-play joystick games, some of those were still really fun.
Star Wars Pod Racer,
TIE Fighter,
Hey.
the
TIE
original,
Fighter, the
OG
original.
Rogue
TIE
Squadron.
all the Rogue Squadron
Squadron,
games. Like basically like 2000 to 2010, right? Basically before Clone Wars started was like the golden age of like Star Wars content,
Yeah.
and none of them have like all the good ones. They just we don't have a Republic Commando sequel.
Well, the golden age of Star Wars video game content.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, we never got a Republic Commandos sequel. We never got another Battlefront game that was.
Republic Commando sequel.
There
is
was
so
no
needed.
Rogue Squadron. There was never another Knights of the Republic game.
It does crack me up that they did Star Wars Squadrons.
Which was actually a pretty fun game.
Pretty
It
fun
was
game.
fun, but it wasn't Rogue Squadron.
All
It
right.
wasn't Rogue Squadron.
Do you have another? If not, that's cool.
Not that I can think
All
of
right.
off the top of my
So,
head.
Ben, do you have another? All right. So,
I'm done.
Kyle, you and I, let's share one more if you've got one.
Okay. I was going to give an honorable mention to Portal, but honestly, since we got Portal
See,
Reloaded,
the
Portal
thing
Stories
is,
Mel,
I
and
was
Portal
thinking
Stories
about Portal
VR,
2, but I was like, that's a
Oh.
dead horse that has been
Yeah.
beaten to oblivion.
Same with Half-Life 3. Like, I could talk about Half-Life 3.
Like,
all
yes,
everyone
we
wants
all
to
would
talk
love to
Yeah.
have another Half-Life and Portal game,
Yeah.
but in
Yeah.
reality, we don't need one.
Before I would have made a joke about Kingdom Hearts 3,
but then, but which is why it's honorable mention. We've actually gotten the Portal Stories games, which were pretty good.
hmm
What the Portal Stories game?
Yeah, Portal Stories Mel. Go look it up. Portal Stories VR and Portal Reloaded.
But it's not Portal 3.
Yeah, but they're not Portal 3.
Are they official Valve things or are they fan
They're
games?
Valve.
They're
endorsed.
Valve
Valve
supported.
endorsed.
Valve
Interesting.
supported.
Huh.
But they're very good.
What's your actual
Yeah.
3? That would give you motion sickness out the wazoo.
Wait, what is it?
Portal VR?
Portal
wait,
VR,
there is a
It's
Portal
a thing.
VR?
Yeah. You should try it.
That's like, that sounds like a motion sickness disaster.
Yeah, it does sound like
Yeah.
that.
Can you imagine
But-
falling down all of a sudden being falling sideways?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's your actual, what's your
My actual
real
one? So my favorite video game of all time, I hardly ever talk about on this podcast just because there's not much going on with it, but Final Fantasy VI. It did get the Pixel remaster, which came out on Steam, which was really good, and they put a lot of love into it.
See, what's funny about that one is,
But-
though, is that we have other Final Fantasy games.
Yeah,
well,
but
but there's
the
never
stories of-
sequels
yeah,
in
there's
Final
never
Fantasy.
sequels. Like the
Yeah, I
stories-
know. They're all
It's-
standalone.
The
Yeah.
entire series is an anthology of a concept. Like not even an anthology of a world, but of a concept.
concept.
Yeah, kind of like the Fire Emblem games. How the
Kind
follow
of-
up the Fire Emblem games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And so what I really want, don't get me wrong, I think that the Pixel Remaster series for the old Final Fantasy games was the right move. I think it was great. I think that they did very good and they showed a lot of love to the series, which deserved it and wasn't getting it. But I still want Final Fantasy VI to get the same treatment that 7 did in its remaster.
Oh, the full overhaul.
Full
overhaul,
overhaul.
yeah.
Like I want to take Tara Branford and Sabin and the whole cast and do that like real-time combat with bullet time spell casting. I want it. I want to try it. I want to see this world rendered in these beautiful things. As much as, don't get me wrong, I think the pixel art graphics in Final Fantasy VI are gorgeous, as good as pixel art could.
But they
ever
only
be.
get you so far.
But no, I think they get far enough. I just want to experience it in this new way.
This man wants to experience the same game a third time.
Yes.
He wants a remastered version of a game that has already had another version.
Yes, part of it is just because it's that good. Another part is I'm still a little salty about the original re-release, which was an awful.
Wait, it's
awful,
already
awful-
been. Dude, he's going.
It's
I want a
already
fourth
re-released.
version of this game.
Yeah, because you gotta understand how trashy the original re-release was. They put filters on it that just whited out all the character
Oh.
sprites, so you could barely tell any detail. They made barely functional mobile controls, and then changed a few lines of code to put that on PC. And don't tell you how to use the controls, so you need to find some random website with some dude who figured it out in his spare time just to use the blitz combos. What is? I was so
wants
mad.
a-
He's a little angry.
He wants
was
another way to
so
play
Quite
that.
upsetty.
Whereas all of us are like, man, we just want a sequel. Kyle's like, I need a fourth version of mine.
Because you messed up the second one that bad.
I want a better Final Fantasy VI. And we're like, we have Final Fantasy VI at home.
Like, oh my goodness.
Oh man, that's really funny.
That's my take. That's me pulling a Jason here of just about
Well,
this.
Jason had emotional damage caused by frogs.
Yeah.
Emotional.
You need
damage.
to watch the video.
Did you not have not seen it?
I haven't
Jason goes on an emotional rant about
Oh
frog
my goodness.
fractions.
It was a trip.
Frog fraction.
He was
Oh, yeah.
gaslit by frogs, dude. I've never
too,
seen
me
somebody so emotionally
too.
distressed about frogs as Jason got last
So,
week.
Cort, you just need to go watch last episode. What are you doing?
It's pretty good.
It was good. I got a text from Michael, right? And he said that I need to give him time to just process the whole frog meltdown so he can make the social media clip.
It is so funny. All right, so the final one, and this is also a game I've mentioned it a few times, and it was on my 3x3, and this is I need. It's not so much that I need a remaster of Burnout 3. I just need the racing gaming industry to go back to the arcade style of racers.
Yeah.
Burnout
That's
Paradise.
true.
Well, no, but see, the problem with Burnout Paradise is that it was the first step towards, but it needs to be a little real.
That's fair.
Burnout 3 was
I like the crash physics.
the Burnout 3 was the last true arcade racer where they went, screw realism. We're going to let you throw a bus into a traffic junction off of an interstate highway or a fire truck.
GTA 5.
No, but see
Yeah,
that.
no, I
That's
know what you
different.
mean.
Like because Burnout Paradise is good, but Burnout you lose the arcade, you lose what made Burnout 3 Burnout.
Yeah.
It went more towards Burnout Paradise feels more like a Need for Speed game than it does a Burnout game.
That's fair.
Because after Burnout 3, we started getting into all these Need for Speed games where it's like, oh, realism, the car's going to handle like it's supposed to. If you get in a wreck, you don't get to control your fireball of a wreckage and throw it sailing 20 feet, 100 feet downwind and blow up a tanker or run into a tram.
I want to send this bus to the moon.
Like
This
because-
will be a spaceship by
Because
the time
what
I'm
was
finished.
awesome about Burnout 3 is like whether you were like the road rage mode in Burnout 3 is like the best way of like without going to like a hack and slash RPG to just burn off steam. Because it's like if you're like I just need to cause mayhem, you just go into road rage mode. Road Rage game mode, which whole purpose is literally just crash as many of your opponents.
Or you boot up one of the Just Cause games. And
Or
then
one
you
of the Just Cause
tons
games.
in there.
Where it's like the whole purpose of the Road Rage mode is just go until you're too damaged and just run your opponents into the dirt repeatedly to a punk rock soundtrack from the early 2000s.
I mean, that sounds like a good time to me.
Sounds like a really
And then the
good
crash function is just like take this fire truck and send it sailing into a junction and cause as much damage as possible. It literally gives you a button to blow it up again. You run into the tanker and you blow up, but if you get enough cars to crash, guess what? You get to blow it up again. And if you hit the right pickup, you can blow it up again.
How many times do you get to blow this up?
At least 3 in the right junctions if you've got the right,
Wow.
things to hit.
That's amazing.
And then you can just race. Like they're just modes, but like the thing is that even when you're just racing, if you get into a wreck, you can activate impact time that allows you to control your wreck.
Oh, that's cool.
So in a race, if you're like in first and you skimp a corner, which there's some weird wonky physics with corner like skidding,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I just got wrecked somehow. You're like, hang on, you just slow-mo steer your wreck like I see second place coming, gotcha, and you make him crash too, and then you get bonuses for making him crash.
This game is just.
Whereas in Need for
sheer
Speed in the modern
mayhem.
games, it's like you wreck, it's like, oh darn it.
Darn it.
But in
Try
Burnout, it's
again.
like you wreck, don't worry, you have another chance. And I
Okay.
it's just like I want the arcade racer style to come back with modern with modern like
Physics
physics
engines and
engines, with modern like graphics, if you modern physics
Imagine playing that with the PS5 controller.
and you feel it.
Oh.
And as you're
That'd be
steering your
good.
wreck, you feel it rumble and
Right.
you feel the
way it
screeching.
drags.
I can feel every single bend of the metal.
Because like, and you could add so many new cars. Because like in Burnout 3, there were like 6 or 7 like forms of cars, and you got all the way up like to the special series. You're freaking speeding through like the streets of Germany on the Autobahn in a Formula 1 racer. That's made of literal paper mache, soaring at 200 miles an hour down the Autobahn. That
I
you can
love
also
the-
control the wreck. That you can also send careening into a traffic junction.
Normal Tuesday night for me, honestly.
Normal Tuesday night for Shia LaBeouf.
Like, I love, as much as I love the Need for Speed games, I just throw the realism out the window just a little bit. I
have
need
some
you to
fun.
skirt the line between arcade racer and a real physics sim racer. And
Yeah.
to just let Pandemonium win.
Yeah. You know, this actually reminds me, because I was thinking, like, man, you'd probably love Baby Park in Double Dash. And that reminded me, like, let's have Double Dash 2. Like, stop updating Mario Kart 8. Double Dash 2.
Double Dash 2.
They're never going to do that.
They need to.
What if they add a double dash game mode to?
Oh, if they
8?
had a Double Dash game mode, yeah.
I'd take that.
I mean, I have said in the past I don't like how Mario Kart 8 handles, but that's just because I think Double Dash is the pinnacle of Mario Kart games, and I
It
like
is.
Mario Kart. Double Dash's physics are better than Mario Kart 8's, but that's a different story.
That's a different story.
But it's like
Yeah.
I want a Burnout, a Burnout 3 style arcade racer that has community support that allows mods and fan maps and fan card. Could you imagine that?
Mm.
Where it's all like, you like
The
Baby
sheer
Park.
possibilities.
You like Baby Park, but now added an arcade racer into it.
Oh. Playing Burnout in Baby Park with the Mario Kart items.
Like, we don't like realism in racing games. We've got it. We've got Forza and all. Return to Pandemonium. We don't need
Reject
return to
modernity,
monkey.
embrace tradition.
Yeah. We don't need
Return to monkey.
return to
to
arcade.
monkey.
Embrace the Pandemonium, please. EA or whoever's making these racing games. Just one. Just make one of your just call it Need for Speed Burnout.
Ooh.
I've now pitched your next Need for Speed game. Please.
So one of the big lessons of watching Knights of the D-Pad is that we should be in charge of future game development, and the studios need to listen to us.
we bring some good takes sometimes. Honestly, we bring some good ideas for games.
I think we've discussed some pretty fun ones that I would want to sink money and time into to just enjoy on this podcast. I'm still waiting for your horror game to come out, Aiden.
Dude, emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
All right. Anything else before we move on to esports?
Not related to this, but I think it would be really fun. Actually, maybe we'll talk about this afterwards.
Okay.
Carry on.
All right. Esports, we've
Okay.
just got two main things: League of Legends, Call of Duty, as normal. Call of Duty finished their Stage 3 major. Guesses as to who won. You saw it. Don't say anything.
Cloud9?
Cloud9.
They're franchised. Sorry, you already both lose. Toronto Ultra took it.
Okay.
They took it $200,000. These Call of Duty is like shilling out money. $200,000 for Ultra in first, $120,000 for Optic Texas in third. Atlanta FaZe took third place with $80,000. Boston Breach took fourth, $40,000.
How many people are on each team?
Man, I'm in the wrong
It's
industry.
Call of Duty, so they have four player teams.
So that's a pretty good
So
amount.
yeah,
Not
Toronto Ultra took down Optic Texas 4-2 in the finals. Optic Texas ran it through the losers bracket. They were knocked down there in round 1 and ran it back. And then Toronto Ultra just they beat New York Subliners. They beat Boston and Atlanta in the upper bracket, and then Texas took them down in the lower bracket.
Nice.
So they took down the prize money. Now, if we look at the overall standings, I think I should be able to find them. Come on. Currently, Atlanta FaZe is still in first, though, with 225 points, but Toronto is right on their tail with only 10 points separating them. So the Stage 4 qualifiers major and the Stage 5 majors should help that if they're able to perform well and perform well with Atlanta, they should be able to take first place. And Texas, but then Optic Texas as a whole, like 45 points behind Toronto. So first and second are really close, and there's a sizable gap as long as Toronto and Atlanta don't just fumble the bag and drop the spaghetti all over the floor.
Spaghetti.
They pretty much have the 1 and 2 seeds locked up. So Call of Duty, League of Legends.
All right. So just yesterday, the North America LCS regular season just finished with a whole lot of tiebreakers.
What level down the tiebreaker rule list do they have to go down to break some of them?
Well, actually, no. They just had to do
They
3
just play a
extra
match.
games.
Oh,
So Cloud9 actually now finished first in this regular season,
wow.
edging out over FlyQuest.
They
And
came
then
back. Did FlyQuest just kind of slowly start fumbling towards the end, and Cloud9 caught up to him?
a little bit, but also Cloud9 has looked significantly
stepped
better
up.
because they replaced their mid laner with a really crazy one from the Challenger League. So it's Cloud9 first, FlyQuest second, 100 Thieves third, and Evil Geniuses and CLG tied for fourth, with Golden Guardians just barely etching in to make it to the playoffs. In Korea, we have T1 completely smashing still, 16-1. Then it's Gen G, KT Rolster, and D plus Kia for the next 4. And so they should be finishing the regular season soon, with it looking like Hanwha Life and Live Sandbox being the ones to...
Sandbox.
Yep, Sandbox being the ones to continue on
Sick.
onto the playoffs.
Very nice.
Europe are continuing today. They just had their first week last week. And it is SK and Vitality in first right now. So it'll be interesting to see if Vitality is going to fumble again by being just a regular season madhouse, but then losing off in the playoffs.
The Peyton Manning of League of Legends?
Yes.
Or the
And
Aaron Rodgers of League of Legends?
Take your pick.
In China, we have EDG.
Your
JD
G's.
Yeah, all the Gs.
All the G's. I like
so-
the G.
EDG, JDG, LNG are 1, 2, and 3. We have WG, 4th. BLG,
Dude, there's
tied for 4th.
all these gaming conglomerates.
And then the 3-way tie for 6th with TTG, OMG, and Top Esports.
Top Esports is all the way at the bottom. Oh my goodness.
Top Esports at the bottom.
Let me guess. In Korea, T1 is still
Yeah.
doing their thing.
Yep. Korea T1 first. With
How much of a lead do they have over second?
they are 3 wins ahead.
Oh my god.
T1 is looking
Like the favorites to win
unstoppable.
everything currently?
Yes, but we'll have to see because they were looking the same last year at the beginning of the season.
Oh, wait a minute. I've seen this one before.
And then they lost in MSI. So
Nice. All right. Looking forward, there's a lot of esports that'll happen towards the first week of April, but currently within the next week between this episode and the next, the Ultimate Smash Summit is starting on the 23rd in LA. A good old major. Finally, Smash is having a major. There is
About time.
$67,222 on the line. I don't know why that oddly specific number. Whatever. So it's sponsored by Red Bull and Coinbase, and then this is a Beyond the Summit tournament. And Beyond the Summit is one of their big things. So they obviously players had
Nice.
to qualify from the qualifiers. So obviously you have your players like Hungry Box in there, among others. So
Yes.
yes, among them. So we'll have Cort
No.
or Kyle talk about that next week, whichever one decides to talk about it. You have to claim dibs. But guess what also starts potentially next week?
I win.
Come on.
Overwatch gameplay
Overwatch
starts
League.
next week. The Pro-Am.
Aiden now, once again, has a purpose in life.
And it's cool because the Pro-Am, they're allowing the Western contenders teams, the Tier 2 teams, to play against the NA-based Overwatch League teams.
Nice.
And the Scrimbucks exchange is in shambles.
Mm.
It's a mess. But as people who watch esports should know, don't trust the Scrimbucks exchange ever. And in Overwatch, it's getting really messy because it's inflated because pro players are just like, oops, I leaked Scrim codes.
any game that has a currency that goes bucks, just don't trust.
Don't trust the Scrimbucks. Don't trust the V-Bucks.
Don't
Don't
trust
trust
the
Bucks.
Robux.
Don't trust Robux. All right. Well, I think that's it for today. Anything anyone else wants to say before we close?
I was looking at Fortnite things, but either there's nothing going on or I don't understand the website. So
He doesn't understand like what
He
we
doesn't
do.
understand the website.
probably.
Anything before we finish?
Have fun playing games.
Yeah, have fun. Play
Yeah.
your games.
Summer's coming.
Play
Usually
your
opens up a lot of people's schedules.
Summer,
Play games.
you still have another
We got
like
a
2
lot
months.
Summertime
of really fun ones coming
loving,
up
loving in the
2023. We got
summertime.
Jedi Survivor coming out pretty soon.
We got,
Tears of the
Tears
Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom coming out pretty
Yes.
soon. Hogwarts Legacy is still out there, and you should play because that's what I've been playing.
I will keep playing Overwatch.
Aiden will keep playing Overwatch.
And OS. I have a drawing tablet now, by the way.
Yes, he does.
Oh, fun for Osu.
Yeah. And for the podcast graphics and
No,
stuff, but I will
just
also
for OS.
use it. Yeah, just OS. That's it. Only OS and Overwatch.
And don't forget to tell your friends about this podcast.
All right, Cort,
What?
take
Oh.
us out.
Knights of the Deep. That is this is.
Casino unblocking your view.
I will do this.
Knights of the Deep is a publication of the Daily Universe. We'd like to give a special thanks to Alan Neves, Miles Romney, and Melissa Gibbs for everything they did and do to help support us and continue to do this podcast. Also, if you'd like to reach out to us with feedback, like Scott has several times, we love him
Thank you,
for it,
Scott.
so
We'll
thank
talk
you,
about
Scott.
your email
Thank you,
next
Scott.
week.
Ideas for topics or just to say hello, you can shoot us an email at nighttothedpad.podcast. Yep, I read that right. At gmail.com. With that, let's sign off. My name is Cort.
Did you just have to look at the script to remember your name?
What's my name?
If there's anything else in there that I have to say before we sign off.
My name's Aiden,
I'm Kyle.
And I'm Ben.
and we're Nice to D-Pad. We'll see you next week.
Huzzah.
Take care.